Yeah, we're live.
Uh-oh.
We've been live. Why?
No, I didn't know if we'd gone live yet.
I said we were going live. Oh god, there we go. So three battle mechs walk up to a bar.
We would like your finest beer.
Several tankards of it, please.
All right. So I have fielded a few questions and stuff. So it seems like people have been thinking about what they want to play. And I just saw the one you put in out of the Abyss Guido, which is how strict are you on spells, material, and components? So the thing is basically this. If you have a component pouch, you are assumed to have any material component. It does not have a gold cost.
Okay. If it does have a gold cost.
It does have a gold cost. You will have to actually keep track, but some of them are not consumed, so it's literally just once I find this component, I can cast this powerful spell. 99% of the time, you're just going to have the material component. It's not going to have a gold. You can also substitute a focus for a spell component pouch. They effectively accomplish the same purpose. It's just stylistic, depending on which one you want, or how you prefer to play the character, because a quarterstaff can act as a focus. You fool, you didn't take the old man's staff away, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Component pouches are much more recognizable as material component stuff, so that is what that is. But yeah, that's basically it. It's not like I'm going to make you keep track of every single little piece of background you have. But if you find yourself in a situation without a focus or a component pouch, yeah, sure, you may have to find some of the components, but hopefully you're not really going to be in a situation like that too terribly often.
And really quick, thank you, Kyfrin, for the sub. Much obliged as always, sir. Shadow Machine, this is third campaign, the third out of the Abyss campaign, no less. Some say it's the third strongest of these campaigns.
It's like the first strongest, let's be honest. All right. So are there any other preliminary questions before we start diving into character creation?
One minor reiteration. I know we talked about at the end of the last game, but I did spend some time looking to see if I could find anything having to do with a cleric being able to use martial weapons. I could not find anything. The only thing class stuff, it said you could use simple weapons, but I looked and found with the particular cleric deity I chose, the favored weapon is a bastard sword, but every reference to that seems to be from a 3rd edition D&D that may not have carried over into 5th edition, so I don't know. So
right, it didn't necessarily. So here's how that works right now.
Okay.
All clerics have simple unless your archetype says otherwise. Some of them, like War or Tempest or whatnot, will say on your level 1, you chose this domain thing, you're now proficient with these weapons. If it doesn't say that, then yeah. But there are also some feats like Weapon Master and whatnot, which allows you to pick them.
Yeah, that was going to be my next, since I took the variant instead of the traditional human, I was going to make that my feat if it wasn't already part of that. So, okay, cool. All good.
There are certain classes which give you weapon proficiency, or races, which gives you weapon proficiencies as well. So,
okay.
Which as a human, you're not one of those races.
No, I have the boring one.
Yep. Okay. Any other questions?
Yes. How much wood?
Oh, God.
5. The answer is 5.
Yeah, it's just a short answer.
42. Come on.
Show your work.
All right. So I think everybody has a concept in mind, correct?
Yep.
Seems to be. Okay. So let me give you a little bit of a background on where this will be taking place, what's currently going on, in case you want to tweak it. Basically, the only major rule I have about character creation is please make someone who actually wants to be an adventurer in a party.
Uh-oh. I just got disconnected.
Oh, yeah, I see.
I did too.
Oh, I did too.
I think everybody just got disconnected. Good.
Oh, perfect.
And you rejoin?
Let's find out. So I can even see you. Dramatic pause. Very, very dramatic pause.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's the one.
Oh, I just got disconnected. Uh-oh.
Okay, that's an interesting thing to happen.
Steam is down.
Recreate it? Well, it recreated, so. Okay. That was good.
I spent a little bit of time. This is just before you go forward. I just want to say something. I spent a little bit of further time trying to come up with a nice, quick, and efficient overlay, just to show some character stuff while streaming this.
Mhm.
And everything I found is that most people have like a separate program which they buy, and then they just grab windows of that and then throw an overlay on top of that. And that all sounds like a lot of grugh to me.
Yeah, it seems like I've seen the overlays that some people do. Like, honestly, it seems like a lot of work for stuff you probably already know.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was like, okay,
Um,
so probably not going to do that. Why am I? Oh, here we go.
but if you're, a huge show with thousands of viewers doing, and
I guess that's fair.
then yeah, you probably would want one of those. But yeah. Your Critical Role, yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
if you're Critical Role, sure. Anyways, I will shut up. Please feel free to do the talking and talk louder.
Talk louder.
You are pretty quiet today.
Starting to get close. I am
Too
actually
close.
kind of
Too close.
So anyway, yeah. Way too close.
Tonight on the evening.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's why. Okay, hopefully this should be a bit better.
That is noticeably better, yes.
For some reason, my auto adjust was turned off. I don't know why that happened.
Hmm.
All right. Good. So, yeah, that's the only major rule. Just don't be that dude who's like, I'm going to go and steal from the party, then run off and not participate in anything.
What?
Because, we
That's
all love.
I'm
I just
sorry,
wanna
but screw
say-
that guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Guido. No, I'm kidding. Even
Not that I
when
think
Guido was
there's
playing
but
the imp character, he didn't do that.
there's been a surprisingly large amount of times where I've like made like a game and then someone was like, you know what, I'm the loner who doesn't want to participate with anything. I stab him in the back. I don't want to participate.
I'd rather play a Kender.
Those are banned. Sorry.
Yes, as they should be.
No, I don't care. So this takes place in the Forgotten Realms in Faerun. A little bit of a variant on it, because we like to do our own stuff, but for the most part, if you're familiar with that setting, you are familiar with the general world that this is going to be taking place in. It is pretty high magic, and this is more for the audience's benefit because I'm assuming you three already know a bit about this.
No, I've never done a lore run on Faerun.
It is fairly high magic, and the technology level is very, very high or low depending on where you are. If you're in a place like a major city like Waterdeep, which has been around forever relative to a lot of places, then the technology level is actually fairly high. You go around there and people are building things that are 3 or 4 stories tall. There's constructs walking around, and there's actual lampposts, there's city guard, that sort of stuff. But once you get out of there, stuff tends to drop off relatively quickly, especially if you get more out into the countryside, where then you've got the more classic, I'm just a poor peasant in my little farm, just working for my lord. There's a lot of different government systems, and then there's things right now. But yeah, that's kind of what it's like. If you're thinking of the pseudo-generic fantasy world, you're probably thinking of a Faerun-like world. Our particular campaign is going to be starting close to the city of Hillsfar, which is actually, I think, Laura, you read up a little bit about this last time, didn't you?
I did, yeah, and I've done a little looking into the history of it, and it's a pretty unpleasant place. Do you want me to share about it, or would you like to?
Sure, if you'd like to.
In the late 14th century, the city of Hillsfar was ruled by the Iron Fist of Wizard Malthier, and there were 2 great laws. The Great Law of Trade: do not interfere with any legitimate trade. This was put into place in order to ensure that the city would be able to thrive despite its rather roughshod reputation amongst the area. The other was the Great Law of Humanity. Only humans are allowed in Hillsfar. Now, this is set up, well, this isn't how this was originally set up. It was actually, used to be under the Elven Court. Now, unfortunately, anybody who's familiar with Faerun will know which Elven Court. Unfortunately, I don't actually know which. There's only like 13 of them. One of the Elven courts used to rule this place. Malthir, the wizard in question that I just referenced, he became the godfather, I think is the simplest and easiest way to explain that. And he, after a while, just pushed the actual elves out entirely and established the new, human-centric domination. Now, what's funny about this, and I'm sure this is going to come up, Third is going to mention this, there's a nearby neighboring area, which is where all the non-human can go to interact with and trade and otherwise do that. But Malthir himself was a staunch xenophobe. That's why there's the no non-humans rule, excuse me. There is a powerful mages guild present. They have a private military called the Tower Guard. And they're basically a bit player on the overall geography of the entire area, the Moonsea region. But they're probably I'd say they're at the level of a city-state.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good description. And as of late, so there's a couple things that happened like directly after what you've been reading. Right now, there is a current ruler who just recently reinstated the first law of humanity. There was a period of time when they got rid of it. That was like a decade or two before the current year, but then they reinstated it, seemingly for no real reason. So people are kind of not sure what that's about, but rumor has it they're not really enforcing it right now. There's some political thing going on there. But, people are talking about it. Hillsfar, economically wise, is doing incredibly well. They are having a lot of trade happen. And as a matter of fact, there has been a lot of trade hubs that have sprung out around the Hillsfar area. A lot of them are very cosmopolitan, a lot of non-humans, because people are still, despite the fact that there was a couple of decades where the Great Law of Humanity didn't exist, they still didn't really want to go there. So a lot of it is non-human stuff. But, stuff has settled down a little bit. People trade pretty much freely back and forth. If you're a non-human, the general knowledge is that you'll still be able to trade in the city without too much of a problem. There are some rumors that the First Lord has hired a mercenary group called the Red Plumes to act as a police force, because there has been a lot of instances where bandits and whatnot have come to pillage the trade caravans going to and from Hillsfar, because it's been very lucrative and they didn't have a lot of guards up until now. Now, before we get too much into this, let's go ahead and dig down to the level right here. So who would like to go first?
Anyone but me, because I'm trying to figure out this Twitch extension thing and it's working incredibly badly. Like, it won't let me log in. It keeps giving me JSON errors.
We'll do Guido first. How about that?
What am I doing?
So, you have a concept in mind, yes?
Yes. So my concept is I'm going to play a half-orc wizard.
A rarity, to be sure.
Who's a noble?
Yes. So my mother was a courtesan in the court, and she was addicted to the Black Lotus. And in one of the drug dens, I was conceived. I have no idea who my father was, but when I was born, the noble that my mother was with, the thought was I could have been his, but no one knew until I was born, at which point the noble wanted nothing to do with me, but I was still part of the noble's family. My mother, also not wanting to have anything to do with me, basically gave me to a nanny, a wet nurse, and I grew up with basically no involvement from my mother. She had no interest in me. She also had a near deathly allergic reaction to magic. So because my mother had such disdain for me, I decided to become a wizard to spite her.
And I sent you.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So how did that take place? Was this like a self-study, or did you like tutor under somebody?
I'm assuming I would have left to go study.
Okay. Where was your mother a courtesan in? Like, I mean, if you don't care, I can come up with a place.
Where was my mother a courtesan?
Mm-hmm.
In the Neverwinter Court of Lord Nasher Alagondar.
I'm so sorry.
All right. Very good. Okay. So you trained for a little bit. Basically, you went to wizard college to spite your mother, who hasn't done that before. And you came back from Hogwarts.
Pretty much. Yep.
And what was your goal after that? You successfully spited your mother by becoming a fledgling wizard.
Basically, when I came back knowing and being able to perform magic, I was paid off to leave and get as far away from her as I could. So
okay. So she was kind of like, hey, here's some money, go somewhere as far away as you can from here and start a life for yourself.
Yep.
Like
somewhere else.
I'm like, you can zap me with lightning now, so I'm not gonna do anything, but just go away.
Yep.
Okay. No, that's perfect. So you got sent off to Hillsfar, because I can just imagine your mother being there like, yeah, let's send him to Hillsfar.
So I still have the nobility. I was raised in the royal palace and whatnot, and so I still have that history of nobility.
Yeah, sure. So like, and you would actually probably do well, and you've got the papers to prove your pedigree, don't you?
Exactly.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Okay. So you got a wagon, a caravan of sorts, because nobody really should be traveling these lands alone right now, to bring you to Hillsfar. We'll pause right there for a second. All right. Who would like to go next? We'll do Cadiz. How about that?
All right. So I am a human cleric of Kellenvor. I grew up with my younger brother. Our parents ran a tavern for most of our young life as we grew up. On the road between Succumber and I keep thinking Daggerfall, but that's not. I don't think it Daggerdale, I believe, is the right one. On the road between those 2 points, and then when we were still pretty young, a regular at the tavern got a little too rambunctious and rowdy and ended up getting into a fight, but also starting a fire in the tavern, which ended up threatening to burn the entire place down. And our father basically rushed upstairs and threw the two of us out of the window to save us, but we're not able to get out in enough time. So our parents died in the fire. So we ended up over time drifting towards Succumber and basically growing up as urchins for the rest of our childhood on the streets until a resident halfling priest of Kellenvor, seeing how hungry we were, kind of took pity on us, took us in, offered to feed us in return for upkeep for the temple. Over time, priest offered to not only provide closure for our parents' death, but also as offered positions in the temple. So I ended up training as a cleric, and my younger brother Cuillin ended up training as a paladin. So over time, we became proficient, and on our first mission, we were dispatched to investigate reports of an undead disturbance in a hamlet to the south in the High Moor. And we weren't really prepared to take down the lich that was attempting to summon a demon from the abyssal plane. So bad intel is really how that went. And then, so in the process of trying to contain that and try to close the rift, Cuillin got dragged down to the abyss to contain the demon. So as the rift closed, the blast wiped the hamlet off the map. I woke up wounded but alive. Undead minions of the lich lay scattered around me, but the lich was not among them. I returned to the temple and begged Kelemvor for help to return my brother to this plane. The only answer I got was a vision of the lich's visage. So my main driving force is to hunt down this lich to kill it, since number one, it's responsible for my brother's condition. It's an abomination of undead, and it's the only way to gain knowledge to get that planal rift opened again to get my brother out.
Okay, very good. See, he's done a smart thing. He's killed off his parents, so I can't use them to torture the character later on.
Yes.
Always
whittle it down to one. You can only have 1 point of entry.
No, but that's good. That's very well thought out. Okay, and something I forgot to ask Guido, which I'll do in a second. What is the name of this character?
Tastin Mott.
What's the spelling of that, please?
Tasten. Last name M-O-T.
Tastin Mott. All right. And Guido, I'm sorry, what was your character's name?
Liam Ulbrinter.
All right. What's the spelling of that last name?
I'm just going to send it to you.
Okay.
There
Thank you.
Cheater. No, it's a good idea.
Technology.
I would have not gotten that last name correct.
All right. Very good. So your mission in life is to essentially find this lich, kill him permanently for good, and get your brother back from the abyss, no matter what.
I mean, yeah, that's my main driving force. Basically at the point that it would be something that I would do to appease Kelemvor to be able to get the opportunity to open the rift again.
Okay. We're just going to do our first roll right now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's a real good sign right there.
Yeah.
100.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. I got that. I have something for
Can I
that.
get a motion there?
You are in the temple praying to Kelemvor, trying to find out what your next step should be. Seeking guidance.
20.
Get smoten. New character. No.
Charred pile in the center that just gets swept
Kelemvor's
away.
No.
And fails.
Fails are not in your favor. No. No. You're only getting a slight bit back from Kelemvor, and I don't know if your character gets frustrated, if Tastin gets frustrated about these things, but it seems like there's not a whole lot coming back right now.
Okay.
The only lead that you have at all is that there has been a whole lot of dark magic, which sometimes can be linked to necromancy, sometimes it can't, but most often that's what people think of when I think of that sort of stuff, coming from a particular region nearby Hillsfar.
Okay.
And it doesn't sound exactly like undead, but it sounds a whole lot like some of the stuff that you found when you were pursuing that lich. You're like, maybe he's doing stuff around there, but that's the only lead you got.
Okay.
So I'm assuming you're like, screw that, and you just leave and go somewhere else.
It's basically one of the, well, I'm off to the Icewood Dale side of things. Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. So yeah, more along the lines of my character would think of it as I'm more frustrated the fact that I feel like it's a failing of me, not of I'm not like putting up enough effort, or I'm not getting a clear picture of this. So it's something that I'm not doing and trying hard enough. There's that kind of frustration.
Yeah. All right. But obviously the temple is supportive of your efforts, and the person who has been taking you in and letting you care for the temple has offered to release you and give you a little funds to pursue this, because he feels, or she feels, like this is Kelenvor's calling for you.
Okay.
So you board the wagon. All right, last but not least.
No, last but definitely least. How'd you spell your name again, please?
Tasten. Last name Mot.
I'm kind of setting up a display on the fly here. Don't mind me.
Okay.
Get rid of that.
And let me know if at some point in time you need my brother's name spelling, but it's not relevant at this moment.
Just 1 second. Third out of the abyss. No, out of the third abyss. Out of the third abyss.
Wait a minute.
Yes, there's 3 of them. There's actually a whole lot more than 3 if you think about it. By the way, hi Sidicusis, NJ, and Fringe Philosopher, and SJ, and Ice Tray, and a pack of 12, and Rory, and a lot of people here tonight. Yeah, it's a lot more we usually get. So hi, everyone. Sorry, I haven't been saying hi. I've been letting them talk, obviously. Thank you.
Yeah, I've got to say, it has tripped me up every single time you say Jay, because I immediately look up and I'm like, oh, wait.
Well, it's not my fault that you made a character. Ice Tray. I think that's just weekend in 2. Thank you very much for the sub, Ice Tray. Much obliged, sir. Okay, so you'll notice if you're paying attention to the overlay, it says my name is Matthew, Matthias, Jonathan, Michael. None of that's true. That guy's super dead. He's mega dead. This is my actual character name, though. Although I could go with something even simpler than that. I've been debating that. Oh, I don't have the tabletop thing. I'm sorry. 1 second.
Mock.
It's spelled Moharik.
Whereas your apostrophes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right.
A lot of silent PHs in there.
Yes, there's lots of them. They're everywhere. There we go. Got the game going. Okay, so no, what I'm playing is I am playing a drow who has redeemed himself from the evil of his brethren.
Oh, I've heard this one. Wait a minute.
There are 2 major rules you need to follow.
Yeah. Let me tell you.
Oh my God! How many? Okay, I just have to talk real quick. How many of you in chat? I know at least a couple of you in real life, or the 4 of you, 3 of you. How many of you were running D&D campaigns in the era when Dritz was big?
Oh yeah.
Oh, everyone! I got that so many times. In fact, in my case, that took until about 2004. I can actually get down to the year when people finally stopped trying to make Dritz clones. I also Panther. Sorry, go ahead, Guido.
I think I was lucky in that respect because I was playing and running World of Darkness games, not D&D. So Drow and that concept did not exist in World of Darkness.
Yeah, fair. By the way, thank you very much, Third.
I was still running Dragonlance at that time.
12 ninjas. God, stop donating, guys. First of all, Third. What do you want to put it towards? Even though, keep in mind, we're not going to start streaming again proper for like a month. Second of all, thank you, a pack of 12 ninjas. Very, very much appreciated. And same question to you for when we come back.
Is Tomb Raider funded yet?
There's no such thing as funded. So I can put it towards Tomb Raider. Third. Tomb Raider. What about you, a pack of 12 ninjas? I guess that's not fair. There is such a thing as funded. If it has to get the 60 mark, but I mean, that's easy. My character, for real. Okay, I'm going to screw up all the proper names because I've been just cramming videos all week, and I don't know. Like I don't know if you guys have ever looked at Faerun's wiki, but it's garbage. So I've been trying to look up some specific names of locations. So I'm just going to go ahead. Oh, it's it's Third. It's your choice where the sub goes.
DM's choice.
Yep.
Ooh, Well, let's look here. Let's look here. What's on here? Because I don't want to just be boring and say the same thing I just said.
I mean, you could if you want to. No, I've got it.
Dragon Quest Builders 2.
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm looking forward to that. So, pack of ninjas, DQB 2. Thank you again.
I will make an addendum to the previous comment. There's nothing wrong with playing like an outlier from your race or anything.
Oh, here we go. So I'm going to play no, hang on, I just forgot to spell Drizzt.
It's just a lot of time. It ended up in a character that was very hard to play with the rest of the party and in the campaign, and Drizzt got blamed for a lot of it.
No, I feel you. Anyways, no, for real. Now, I'm going to go ahead and admit something here, and I'm kind of doing this deliberately because I figure that's part of the point of this session. I haven't decided on a species yet.
Okay.
Because species doesn't matter for my build, so to speak. So I will take GM inference. I am from either, and I haven't decided on this one yet either, Cormyr or the areas to the north of here, and I got the map up in the Dalelands. One of those two places is where I'm from. Not sure where exactly. I was having some troubles because, see, I was one of those kids who grew up in your typical thieves gang, but I was the muscle, right? I just realized I'm making the Yakuza guy again. Look, whatever. That's not the intention. I swear to God. No, seriously, hear me out. So the idea was, I was raised in that environment and hated every moment of it. And I was participating in a raid on a caravan, which happened to be protected by a group you may have heard of called the Knights of the North. Now, you've not heard of the Knights of the North, have you?
Nope.
Okay, so the Knights of the North are a semi-secret group of adventurers and soldiers in the Moonsea region of northern Faerun who are dedicated to the complete destruction of the Zhentarim. They use hit-and-run tactics and a relative secrecy of their identities, and they have been disrupting Zhentarim trade and have been attempting to foil their plots and machinations at all costs.
Oh, okay. So they're a resistance group because that makes sense. All right. Yeah. I kind of get what they're about now.
Yeah. So what ended up happening is I was one of the survivors of the knights defeating the bandits, and I sufficiently was blasted by them that I barely survived. But I was like, guys, please take me with you. And they're like, why? Screw you. And I'm like, no, please, I'm begging you. Anything, please take me with you. Anything but this crap. And they're like, fine, we'll work you to the bone. And they treated me pretty badly, but I put up with it because we were going after the Zhentarim, who of course I knew about. I mean, how do you not know about the Zhentarim, right? And yeah, everyone knows about the Zhentarim. How many people in chat do not know about the Zhentarim? So that was pretty much my goal. Now, I did go ahead and train in one of their own. I had a mentor who was a monk. That's how I became a monk. I'm playing a monk, by the way. He trained me in the general concepts of order and discipline. Haven't decided a subtype of monk in general. That's not really super relevant. I might not go with a subtype in general, so I'm kind of leaving that a little bit open. But I did not belong to a specific monastic order unless the GM wants me to, in which case I'll just pick one at random. Because the idea is that this monk who trained me was of order blah, if you follow.
Right. No, you don't have to belong to any specific order.
Okay. We can decide if we want to what his order was. I admittedly haven't. There's a really large number of orders, even just in the region. Yeah. So, I mean, order of the hand, order of the elements, just something basic. So I went on quite a few missions and got to the point where I started I'm sorry, I'm saying this in the wrong order. I did my dues as the deck swab, basically, to use the ship equivalent, and got to the point where I was trusted to go on missions and started actually going and dealing with stuff. Now, I wasn't exactly high tier. Again, this is basically before I even really hit level 1.
Yeah, you were a squire in all but name, basically.
Yeah, exactly. I was just the guy carrying his gear and whatnot, but I tried to pick up a few things and deal with a few things. And during one of the missions, we went up against a Zhentarim cabal, which was centered in, I don't remember the name of the place. Now, hang on, where's the map? Like I said, I don't have a lot of the proper names ready to go here. I was going to go with Myth Draenor, but I couldn't find a lot of details about that place. I don't want
to. Yeah, that's ruined. So,
yeah, that works then. So we were going against a Zhentarim summoning circle, basically. and they were summoning demons. My monk died. Most of the people on the mission actually died, except for one guy who was a ranger. Now, this ranger gentleman, he was... he never really got along with anyone. He was kind of the Dritz of the group. That's a bad example. Dritz is actually a doofus.
He was the lone wolf.
Well, yeah, he was kind of the dick. He was the Red Arrow, if you get that reference.
Wow.
And so I can pull out all the references here, guys. I got them all. So he managed to survive only because he happened to have a demonic artifact, I don't know or care which, that he had actually smuggled off the Zentarum and not told anyone, because the usual policy of the Knights is destroy that crap, right? Just axe it immediately. And so he ended up using that, and that ended up saving his life and mine, actually. This led to him introducing to me the idea of using the weapons of the enemy against them. And as a direct consequence of this, we also found out that the Zentarum are doing something regarding a lot more demon summoning than they have been in recent years. Like, they're actually, like, normally the Zentarum don't really do that much trafficking with demons. They're usually more on the devil's side of things, and elements and enslavement and undeath. So this is a little bit unusual. So he went off to go into something more large scale. Basically, he was dealing with a real issue and following a real lead on this. And he said, you go find out what you can find out in the area. And he basically just left me here. Now, fortunately, because of my backstory as a criminal, as that is to say my background, for those of you familiar with 5th edition, as a criminal, where's the, I have 50,000 tabs up. There we go. Background as a criminal, and I know I need to pick a specific type of criminal. I'm thinking enforcer would probably make the most sense. I'm turning to 3rd, and 3rd's going to answer my question.
That's fine.
Okay. Well, because of my background as an enforcer, I was able to reach out to a contact I always have, some intel with, and I found out that there's this caravan, or whatever it is that those two are on, that's heading into the region, and I figured that's a good enough place to start. So I just kind of slipped my way on board, and that's where I'm at.
All right. So you're essentially just following up on this weird thing that the Zents are doing after your ranger fellow.
And by the way, for those of you at home, since I don't actually know this module, so I don't know if the Zentarum are actually involved with this, but I've got an exit clause prepared. If they're not, this could be a rogue sect, just one little group of Zentarum who decided to get involved. So.
Oh, I know exactly how to integrate this. Don't worry.
Okay.
Everybody has mentioned something that is like literally perfect for this.
Awesome.
Okay. A lot of people are saying Dragonborn.
Yeah, I noticed that. You guys want me to play a Dragonborn?
I've seen a Dragonborn monk before. It's actually pretty effective, especially if you go strength.
I'm just a strength-based Dragonborn monk. Isn't that a brawler?
No, yeah, it is, and that's how he plays it. He basically goes strength, and he went like open hand, but since open hand can like flip people, he treats it like essentially a jiu-jitsu master.
Oh wow!
Where he's like grabbing people, choking them out, and flipping them over, and that sort of stuff.
Now, that is tempting, admittedly, but I could use a dwarven accent the entire campaign if I were to go with a dwarf.
I will tell you this, there's a lot of stuff to do if you're a dwarf in this.
Really? Ooh, I'm getting more tempted. What do you guys think? Should I play a dwarven monk?
Dwarven drunken master, there you go.
I mean, you could throw just about anybody. Your center of gravity is
exactly.
On the floor.
Yeah, I'm going to be the judo master here.
Aye, laddie. Liam approves.
Well, I got to change my name then. How can I make Mark sound appropriately dwarven?
Marek.
Oh, I like that. Mark. And we'll spell it really strangely, but it's just
Mark Hammer.
There we go. No, that's too much. Marach. I should pick a clan. You know what? Let's go old-fashioned. Give me a second here.
So what race are you going with? What'd you decide on?
I'm going with the dwarf.
Oh, okay.
I mean, obviously, I'm not sure what other options there really are if you think about it. Oh, God, what clan was he? Yeah, that's it. I'll be Iron Fist clan.
All right.
Danny Rand.
So, rock, Iron Fist. All right, right on.
Mark. Just call me Mark. Just call me Mark.
All right, one thing I forgot to get from you, Cadiz. What background do you have?
Urchin.
Okay, just want to make sure.
So hang on. What was your background, Guido? That is to say, Liam.
Noble.
So we have a noble, a crook, and an urchin. So to make sure I'm getting that right.
And that's actually kind of awesome because I look down on everyone.
Yeah, literally.
And now literally, yeah.
Yes. Okay, so I like it. I like this motley crew right here. All headed towards a point of importance right
Real
now.
quick, third, could you spawn some dice in tabletop for me, please?
Oh, sure.
I was going to do it
right.
myself, but I need.
Nobody's not promoted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just go down the line and promote everybody.
Okay. And I can just pull my own in.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, I was going to ask about dice because mine are still in a box somewhere.
Gotcha.
I'm actually not sure where mine are. I know where my D20 is. It is right here.
What kind of D&D players are you?
One that just moved
Second.
recently.
Gotcha.
I can.
There we go.
There.
Look
Boom.
at those
Done.
relics right there. That's some physical.
All right, so we're all going to have Cadiz roll for us tonight.
Oh dear. Okay, I've got multiple sets of dice. I could do this. It just seems like a bad idea.
Hang on.
If any of you are familiar with how Cadiz's dice roll, we're going to be dead
Yeah.
before the end of
You're not going to
session
make it through the first encounter.
Apparently I'm blue.
All right. So I think we have enough time to do a little bit of a session 0.5, unless there's any like further questions or we want to like try and build out some of these things or anything like that.
Hang on.
Oh.
Okay, 7. According to this, I was a pickpocket. I think Enforcer works better, though. What do you think, third? What do you do? The options are blackmailer, burglar, enforcer, fence, highway robber, hired killer, pickpocket, or smuggler.
I think Enforcer probably.
Okay.
Now let me ask this question. Does everybody have a thing to mark down their character stuff on?
I'm using the editable PDF.
Using
That's
editable
what I'm
PDF?
using too.
Okay.
So
Have you
put it in
okay?
dwarf now.
Cool. Have you filled out any of it, or we need to start going through that right now?
Most of mine, other than a couple of minor details about like weapon damage and attack bonus and that all that Yahoo stuff.
Okay.
I also have not added my stat rolls because I don't know what system you're using.
So I was going to ask that of everyone. So we can do, there's a couple different options, right? We can do simple point buy, which is generally the 5e recommended system because everybody gets on roughly the same playing field. Or we could do a rolling system. Just wanted to ask what everybody would prefer to do.
I hope you go with rolling system because I literally already did that and set it all up in my character. But if people
which
want
rolling system did you use? Because there's several.
I basically said, okay, 5e character, and then hit the roll and brought it up, and I'm like, okay, great.
Which
what are the
tool
stats?
You use on Beyond?
No, it was a oh god. It was not on Beyond, but it was similar to that where it rolls the stats.
But what did it roll?
It rolled I think it was roll 4d6 and drop the lowest was the way it was set up.
Do that.
That was the same thing I did.
Okay, well, there we go.
So 46 minus 1. Got it. Give me a second here. Whoops.
Down the line, 3d6. No, we're not going to do that. What's your strength? 5.
Cannot lift cheese.
Happen. It's another. It's okay. It's 2 16s. Good lord.
Like that's fun if everybody's on board with it, but
14. I should make my int like 3 or whatever my lowest is. Oh, I'm not dropping the lowest. God damn it. Hang on. Let me just start over. Go on without me. I'll just roll these.
all right. Now, as far as like spells, if you're a spellcaster, which 2 of you are, or I guess weapons is also a thing. Does anyone have any questions about that?
Not as of yet. I put all my spells in for my cantrips in my level 1, which is where I'm at for my stuff.
So I'm still
I took the
No, I just 6 for one of my stats.
I took the path of the grave domain was the one I picked, and it's from Xanathar's Guide to Everything, so it's a legitimate book.
Yep. You get some special stuff, don't you?
Yeah.
What do you get?
I get Circle of Mortality and Eyes of the Grave at first level.
Yep. And if I recall correctly, in addition to the basic cleric stuff, which is spell casting stuff, some little bit of melee and range stuff, some medium stuff, you get to at range stabilize people as like a bonus action.
Yes, that's it's within 30 feet for Circle of Mortality. Yeah.
And also you can be like, I want to see dead people, and you do for a little bit.
That's the Eyes of the Grave, and that's within 60 feet.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Real quick.
Yeah.
I'm just going to jump in because I want everyone at home to know my stat rolls, okay?
Okay.
My highest is a 14. Then I got 12, 10, 11, 11, and 6.
Do you want to keep those or you want to reroll?
I'm okay with re-rolling.
Those are really, really awful.
Yeah, that's below average.
That is just terrible. I mean, you guys know my dice luck. Oh.
And I imported a dice tower if you want to use that for rolling.
Oh, sure. Let's drag these in here.
That's why I use an online system, because I know my dice rolling is crap.
No. Okay.
No.
Hey, Guido.
Yeah.
Look at where'd they go?
I don't know. Hold on. Oh, okay,
Physics.
Okay, so it's okay. Here they go. No, they actually went through. One of them went through. Get that one in. Put that one in. That's actually going to be. That is super worse. As a 4.
That's 10.
That is. Yeah, that's 10.
That's base.
It's
charisma.
I'm like scarred. I've got pimples everywhere.
Hold on, we're doing another race, so go ahead and do another one.
Yeah, that's my intelligence is 10, so I'm doing good.
Let's see what we
I feel
got
good
here.
about this.
So that's 10.
That's 10.
Okay.
I'm sensing a trend. Sensing a trend. Whoops. Hang on. And that's 13.
Okay.
Slightly better.
So far, it could still be like an average stat array. Okay.
That's not bad. That's 14. That's not bad. Listen to me. I was hit by. I mean, I did just get attacked by demons. That's 15. A 15. Is that? What do we have to do? One more.
Big money.
It's 15 again. So that is. I think I'll take that one instead.
That's actually a pretty decent one. That's probably what you get with point buy.
Instead of the other one. Jesus.
Okay. There you go.
Fill those in here.
Did anyone else sort of roll like abysmally bad stats or anything like that?
Just for intelligence, I got a base 10, but everything else is actually pretty decent.
All right. Cool. And I'm assuming. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, Guido, this is the first time you played a 5e wizard?
Yes.
All right. So you know how they changed from the other editions?
No.
All right. As far as preparing spells?
It's like at the end of a long rest, I can prepare the spells for the day, and then at the end of a short rest, I can re-prepare up to my level or something.
Not exactly. So here's how this works. So they made wizards a lot more spontaneous, right? So you have spell slot levels, and this kind of goes the same for all classes right now. You have spell slot levels, and the wizard is unique in the fact that you basically pick up to, I think it's like your intelligence plus your intelligence modifier plus your level, the spells that you want to prepare, and that means that particular spell is prepared, but you can use any type of appropriate spell slot for them. So, for example, if you're like, "Hey, I want to prepare magic missile at the end of this long rest," then you can cast using a first level spell or second or third or whatever, and you can do it until you run out of spell slots.
Okay.
So that's kind of how that works. At the end of a short rest, you can get some of the spell slots levels back, like up to half or something, like once per day or something like that. So you don't get to like rememorize at the end of the short rest, but you do get some of these spell slots back. That's one of the wizard's unique things, is that they can spend some time with their book and kind of refresh their spell levels a little bit. Yeah, so that's kind of how the classes change. Sorcerer is still like super spontaneous, where you just pick spells and that's what you can cast. You don't get to change them like the wizard. Cleric is a little more similar to the wizard, except instead of having a certain number of spells in the spell book that you can pick between, you have the whole list, but you kind of have to pick them at the end of a long rest, and you don't get to change until the next long rest. There's, based on the subclass, there's other differences, but that's the basic thing. So there's no more, hey, I want to prepare 3 level 5 magic missiles today or anything like that.
Cool.
All right. Starting equipment. Now there is a standard package. I don't know if that was in the stuff you're reading. You can do that, or you can get gold and start buying some stuff. I kind of just recommend going with the standard package because there's a few to choose from.
With your permission, I'd like to start with basically nothing but the clothes on my back.
Sure, if you'd like.
You gotta walk the earth like Cain.
You'll have to convince me about the clothes, but other than that, we're okay.
No, I've got the clothes. I've got a pretty ratty, robe. I probably have something on me that identifies me as a member of the Knights of the Order. They don't actually clarify that in the lore, so like ring, patch, spell.
Well, they're semi-secret, so they wouldn't be like, hey, we're so and so, and have
exactly.
It's on there.
It's more like the Hail Hydra kind of a thing. Actually, that's not a bad idea. Let's make it a passcode. Can we make it a passcode? That's actually a good idea.
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay,
so
we'll give you
it's a passcode, and there's also a sign. The sign's obviously a little more complicated, but
let's assume I don't have access to the sign, because I'm just a nobody, right?
Okay.
But I do know the passcode, which is
ham sandwich.
Ham sandwich. I love it. Staying on brand.
It works for everything.
Ham sandwich.
I mean, we could just make it simple, like Hail the Night.
No, ham sandwich. I'm with it.
Ham sandwich. All right.
So dumb.
Semi-secret sandwich society.
Yeah.
All right. So you'll be able to identify yourself and other members of the Knights of the Nine if you somehow come across them. Not that would be an incredibly common occurrence, but
I actually doubt it will ever come up, but I thought I'd mention it.
Mm-hmm. All right. So do you want to start with any weapons at all?
Nope. I punch things.
Okay. All right. Right on. You want to start with any food?
No.
No? Okay. Right.
I am pretty hungry when I get to the caravan. In fact, my first roll is going to be trying to steal some food from one of these. I'm not kidding.
Now, I totally didn't mean to do this, but I realized after I was doing this opening that I just made the Skyrim opening.
Oh, God, you did!
You're finally awake. You were trying to cross the border, right?
God damn it. I quit. I Alt F4.
The only thing this has in common is it's a caravan. That's literally it.
I end process. No, for real though, until we hash this out a bit, my plans for my first roll was going to be stealing some money from one of those two to pay for my passage on the caravan. And now, if I still have to do that, I will, because I don't got money on me.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
So, because you probably want to survey the scene before you start trying to nick pockets and stuff.
I do have a question, by the way.
Yes.
About the character sheet. I don't know how, so for saving throws, obviously mine are strength and dex, but I don't know what that means.
So
let me rewind that a second. Hang on. What number do I put there?
What number do you put there?
Is it just my mod or what?
So if your saving throws are, for example, strength and what was yours? Strength
dex.
And dex. Then you would put your modifier plus your proficiency bonus.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So basically, if it says like you're proficient or you got a die beside it or whatever, 99.9% of the time that means you add your proficiency bonus to this on top of your stat.
Okay. Same question for skills?
Yes.
Okay. So
Now, for skills, a lot of them will have the attribute next to it.
Mhm.
That's the default. It's totally okay if you want to be like, hey, I want to do this, but I think it would be more appropriate if I use this different stat for it.
I want to use a medicine roll with strength.
No, I can say no.
I want to.
I'm gonna heal
But,
you.
no, but no,
I mean,
but
if you want to break a bone, it works.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna heal you.
but medicine is a great example because you can be like, okay, well, my medicine knowledge is more studied, right? It's
Yeah.
not.
So yeah.
So I would like to do a medicine intelligence roll.
I could also make an argument for a charisma medicine thing because of the placebo effect.
Right. Yeah. But like, for example, for Cadiz, his medicine would probably be more wisdom based, right? Because he's used to actually doing it in the temple. Now, if you want to say, well, I just studied, then we can totally change it. But that's something that you can do for any of these. Like, for example, this has always been a big one, like intimidation, it's charisma by default, right? But if you're a barbarian and you want to be like, I want to show raw intimidation by picking up this table and breaking it over my head and not flinching, sure, that could be like a strength or even a constitution check.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, generally we'll default to these, and I'm not going to let you do like, I want to do, dexterity history check. Like, it's not
Come on. I'm going to deftly pull the knowledge out of my.
Yeah. One other thing that's also very important in 5th edition is something called, and you'll see that on the sheet, your passive perception and insight.
I was actually just trying to figure out how to calculate that because I've never used that.
So those are always going to be 10 plus your bonus to that skill. So if your perception is a +3, your passive perception is going to be a 13. If you have advantage or disadvantage, that adds a +5 or a -5 respectively, but that'll come up when it comes up.
Yeah.
What this does is this allows me to, and allows you to do things like roll stealth checks or deception checks or whatever. And we're not sitting there, okay, make a perception check, roll. Okay, you don't see anything, move on. What we'll do instead, especially in the middle of combat, I'll be like, okay, I'll roll a stealth check. Let's see, okay, I got a 6. And I look at anyone who has a passive perception of 7 or higher, which is going to be like everybody. Be like, okay, you notice this moving around. Whereas if I had rolled a bad example, all right, let's just say I rolled high. If I rolled 19, then that beats everyone's passive perception. I don't say anything. Now, you can always be like, I'm looking around the room or I'm doing whatever. And in that case, you can actively roll it. But this is an easy way to bypass the whole constantly rolling perception or insight or deception or whatever.
If I'm not mistaken, actually, shouldn't you just ask our passive perception up front so you can just glance at that every now and again?
Yeah, I will.
That's fair.
Yes. Actually, that's a good point. I should start marking.
Oh,
I lost your audio third.
lost your audio.
I don't know how that happened. I've already got Guido's, which is a 13.
Mine's 11.
Yours is 11.
Mine's also 13.
I'm not.
Right, 13, 11. Those are pretty decent. And you will also find that
You can see what a dwarf. I just realized I didn't figure
numbers are not going to be as high as 3.5 or Pathfinder. They're much more bounded. So what that means is even if it's not your speciality, there's going to be at least a chance that you'll be able to do it. There'll be a chance you'll be able to fight things and hit them. There'll be a chance you'll be able to walk up to the career politician, and even though he's level 15, he still might get away lying to him, right? So don't be afraid to if something's level is obviously much higher, there's still a chance of actually defeating it or getting around it or talking to it or whatever. So you're not going to be going up against something that has a plus 30 to grapple you or whatever. That's not going to happen. So I encourage you to try stuff, even if you're not super hyper specialized in it. That also means that AC and attacks are a little more bounded, so the difference between a level 1 and a level 20 character isn't going to be as extreme as it would be. I've got a level 1 and a level 20 in AL, and when he started, he had a plus, 5 to hit. He's at a plus 15 now. That was 20 levels, and he bumped up 10. That's getting magic items. So if you see that demon lord, just go up and hit him on the snout. It'll go well.
I like that idea.
It'll hit him
No.
once. Smash. Couple other things, especially about healing and death and stuff. So it's easier to get up in 5e. It's also a lot easier to die when you're down. Instead of sitting there rolling and taking off 1 hit point every time you fail, it's either 3 successes or 3 failures, which is just a straight up con save versus a DC 10. Once you hit 3 successes, you stabilize. Once you hit 3 failures, you die. And any damage you take while down is either going to be 1 or 2 additional failures, depending on what type of damage it is. If somebody like stabs you next to you, crits you, you're down, it's 2 failures. But if you just get caught in like, a bit of splash damage, that's going to be 1 failure. So what this means is that you don't have as much chance of dying, especially as you level up once you get higher. So trying to heal bot people, not as particularly as effective as it could be. But that does mean that, once you're down, it's a lot easier to just get sliced in the throat and that's it. Let's see what else. Oh, and also if you take your max HP and negatives on 1 single hit, you die instantly. Not as big of a problem once you level up, but just to be aware. Let's see. Anything else that's weird? Do you kind of understand how the whole action system works in 5e? Because it can get a little wonky. All right.
But real quick,
Yes.
I actually have a passive perception of 12. My bad.
Oh. Okay.
I'm a dwarf.
As if that answers anything.
Yeah.
Being a dwarf pushes my wisdom up by 1.
Oh, okay. You're
14 wisdom, so...
Okay. So, here's the basic action system in 5e. You have an action. You can use you can use that to basically do anything, whether it is swing your sword or cast a spell or help somebody or do whatever. 9 times out of 10, it's going to take your action. Your movement is separate from all of that. It's not even action. It's just you get your movement every turn. So if your movement is 30 or 25 or whatever, that's how much movement you get. You can break up your movement so you don't have to do it all in one thing. So you could run up to somebody with 15 feet of movement, use your action to, hit them in the face, and then move away. There are some things that will say bonus action. This is technically a separate type of action that some skills or spells or whatever allow you to get. You can only take 1 of those. They're separate from actions. That's that. This is basically the way the designers tacked on to, just say, hey, we want them to do this on the same turn sometimes, so we'll put it in the bonus action slot. Those are all the action types in the game. That's it. Action, bonus action. Attacks of opportunity are a lot different. You only get an attack of opportunity out of somebody's reach, which means you can circle, strafe somebody all you want to as long as you don't move out of their reach. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Technically, there is one more type of action, which is called a reaction. You take that when you want to take an attack of op or in response to something that you have some ability to do. You get 1 of those per turn. That's it. So if you're going to attack op somebody, then you use a reaction and you do that. In its base game, 5e doesn't really have maneuvers unless you're a battle master, but I'm going to add basically all the alternate maneuvers into the game because I want you guys to get tactical. I want you to have fun with that. So base maneuvers are this, and again, most of these take an action to do. The base thing is to either grapple somebody or shove them down. You'll be happy to know that there's not a huge flowchart for grappling.
I was about to say, wait, you want us to grapple?
So grapple's this. It is your athletics versus their acrobatics or athletics. That's the end of grappling rules.
What? Hang on. So what about the roll for depending on the size variant and my first action versus their third action? Which my second action if I succeed, but my first fail.
The only thing that happens is that when you're grappling somebody, their speed is 0. That's it. Alternatively, you can shove them down, which is the same type of check, but that just either pushes them away or pushes them prone. or alternatively, when you're grappling them, you can drag them with you at half speed. A couple of new maneuvers that are being introduced. Anybody can attempt to disarm, which is just a straight attack roll versus their what is it? It's like acrobatics. It's basically same thing as grappling, except you roll an attack roll. And there's certain differences based on like size and whatnot, which you don't even need to worry about. Just assume if you're trying to disarm a giant, probably not going to be as easy as something else that's smaller. Flanking is a little bit weird because their optional rule sucks out loud for that, so we're not going to use that. So for flanking, and I'd like your input on this, what I was going to do is to just do a straight up reverse cover, because cover in this game gives you a +2 AC for partial, and then like a +5 if it's 3/4 or above. What I was just going to do is just kind of do the reverse of that, where if you're flanking someone with like 2 people, it's -2 their AC, and if they're like basically surrounded, it's -5, which puts it on basically me to remember it. So I don't want to burden you guys with that. The other alternative that they suggest in the book is to do advantage, which is terrible because that is basically invalidates everything else that gives you advantage to the game. So you never do anything but flank and not take any other skills or spells or abilities that do that.
Sure.
What do you think?
I mean, if the math doesn't become too cumbersome, I'm down with having the minus AC.
Okay,
because that makes more sense.
Yeah, because I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you probably like it more if positioning mattered.
That is insane. I hate tactical RPGs. What's up with?
Wait, what?
Suggestion.
Yes.
Instead of +2 and +5, how about +2 per person that is flanking?
So if it's 2 people and they're flanking, it would be a +2?
If 2 people are flanking, each one grants a +2. So it'd be a +4. 3 people are flanking, then it'd be a +6.
Or is that too OP?
I think that's probably going a little too big.
I mean, if you're going to do that, why not make it +1 for each?
Yeah, if you're going to do that, I would make it +1 for each.
Because the minimum would be 2.
Because I think like if you had like 4 people, then that'd be a +6, and that's more than like anything in the game ever gives.
So if we flank the dragon, right? Okay.
But there's only ever going to be the 3 of us,
Well,
unless we get NPCs. So
yeah, there's going to probably be help a lot of the time.
Okay.
I'll put that out there.
So
there's all
And
the
plus, I don't want you to just get immediately murdered because there's more enemies than you, which is going to happen.
that'll never get us massive. What the hell?
So I don't know. I mean, either +1 per or up to +5 maximum.
Why don't we try +1 per?
There we go.
So I think that will give us like a good balance there.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
And +1 is actually pretty massive in 5e. So that's a pretty good advantage.
I'm assuming I'm the white mage.
Yes,
I'm
you're
not
the white
looking
mage.
at
Guido's the black mage. I'm the monk.
Of course, that all checks
All
out.
right. Any other stuff like disarming, all that sort of stuff? Like we can go into other specifics later on when you actually attempt to do that. Just know that those options are available. And it's probably going to take some sort of skill check to do. And if you're not a battle master, it's probably going to take your action. It's like 3.5 or whatever. You sacrifice something to attempt to do it. All right. I'm looking over the character sheet to see if there's anything else I should potentially go over. I think that is probably it. I think that's it. I'm assuming everybody's chosen their proficiencies and languages and all that sort of stuff.
I actually didn't get to choose languages, but yes.
Oh, I didn't. Okay. So for your background, do you want to just go with the background defaults?
Sure. Sure.
All right.
We'll make this simple.
Oh, by the way, if you want to rebuild anything or tweak anything up to the first few levels or even beyond, just depending on what it is, like feel free. I'm not going to be like, you got to stick with what you got. All right. So for being a A criminal.
I actually thought about faction agent, but unfortunately, those are only the big factions.
Yeah, faction agent unfortunately makes you a little bit of a target too,
That's true.
because you're a declared faction agent.
Yeah. I'm more. Oh wait, hang on. Knight of the Order's on this list.
Mercenary Knight of the Order actually would probably fit better.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Even though I notice the knight that I am a part of is not on this list, but that's okay.
Yeah, they just have examples.
So that's going to change. That's actually going to suck, but that's okay.
Now, for the background, if you want to sub out any skills or tool proficiencies or anything, feel free. There are more suggestions than actual rules. For the languages for Knight of the Order, you just get to pick one of your choice. Okay. Oh man, you didn't want to be a Knight of the Unicorn?
There's a Knight of the Rainbow, by the way. That's a real thing.
Okay, you say Knight of the Unicorn, and suddenly all I can hear is Charlie.
No.
Oh man.
Hot candy mountain, Charlie.
Sorry.
No.
Unicorn. All right. Yeah, the nice unicorn are actually pretty cool, but you know. All right. So.
God, my int is 0.
Oh, that's fine.
No, I'm just looking over this. Since I switched over this, I get history and persuasion instead, which is at a 0 and a 0.
Now, well, since
I mean, it's plus the provision. So that's 2 and 2, but still, it's garbage. Is the point?
It's not garbage.
Yes, it is. that is junk.
All right. Look, I mean, you'll eventually hit that DC 22. All right. Any other questions, anything like that before we?
Yeah, can I cheat and teach myself demonic language? I can't remember the name of it right now.
Abyssal. Want to swap out if you want to use your one language, yes, you can.
I can't justify that.
I actually did take it because it was more of a backstory choice than anything else, but I think that I may change that because maybe haven't spent enough time after the fact when my brother got taken that I would learn that yet.
Yeah, I can't justify it. I'd love to, but no, I'll take Elven.
Okay. Yeah,
Guido,
unless it's something like Druidic, then generally okay.
The only question I had is, does your proficiency bonus, I know it applies to your attack roll. Does it also apply to damage?
No.
Okay.
No.
That was all I had.
No, that's okay. That's a super common question. No, it does not. Generally, it's not going to apply to any damage unless something specifically says so. It's just,
I figured since it was like spell damage, it might, but
just your proficient saves, your proficient skills, and your attack. That's basically it.
Cool.
All right. So,
hang on, I got a question. Why does the knight's tool proficiency either a gaming set or a musical instrument? What the hell is with that? I mean, I'm literally Squire, so maybe that is it.
I mean, you can choose any type of tool proficiency you want to. Like,
Again,
these are suggestions. They're not
just a tambourine. Mr. Tambourine Man.
Hang on, where's the list? Because I know there's one. Where's the
take the what is that? The water phone or whatever that makes those weird.
No. It's not on this list. What the heck?
Can I make a terrible joke?
Sure.
Okay. So I saw a picture recently of Michael J. Fox with the caption, "Great at making martinis, terrible at stealing tambourines."
Oh, that's awful.
Yep. No, that's bad. That's bad.
Awful. And none of these are like steal from people tools. Damn it.
Like not thieves' tools?
It's not on the list.
Well, it's a tool proficiency. I don't know why it's not on the list. It's a tool.
Okay, I believe you. Thieves' tools. That's my pick then.
Thieves' tools. All right. Just out of curiosity, what other proficiencies did everybody else get?
I love the idea of a lore monk too, by the way, Braven.
Is that on the feats and traits, or is it?
If you're looking at the character sheet,
Yeah.
It
Should be
should
better.
be.
I
Did
not
they put
do
it in?
that?
It should be on under like proficiencies in languages. Like, I mean, if you put it there, but
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
I
under-
just put languages. I didn't put any tool proficiencies.
oh, gotcha. Well, I mean, if you look in your background, I think you get some. If
Yeah, I'll take a look through the urchin.
basically languages and tool proficiencies are interchangeable.
Okay.
So, like it says, you get 2 languages. You could instead take 2 tool proficiencies or 1 language and 1 tool or whatever.
Oh, here we go. Thieves' Tools and Disguise Kit for Urchin. Enough.
Sure.
You know, because of your upbringing, if you want to swap that out for something else, you can totally do so. All right. So, we begin. Unless there's another question.
I got another question. No, I'm
Okay.
kidding. I'm kidding.
Too bad.
Actually, I do have a legit question. Sorry, I actually forgot to ask this earlier.
Okay.
How many bonus actions do we get per blank?
Bonus actions you get per blank. I'm not sure. You only ever get 1
So-
bonus action per turn.
So it is 1 bonus action per turn is the answer to my question.
Yes. Even if multiple things can grant you a bonus action, you may only take 1 bonus action per turn.
See, I thought it was like an encounter ability to use a 4th edition equivalent.
No. There really aren't any encounter abilities anymore.
Okay.
The closest thing you have are things that recharge on a short rest, which is still not per encounter.
I have no further questions.
All right. So it is getting cold. It's about around that time in the season when people are bringing things in from the fields. In the harvest, as you're traveling along the caravan, or at least Liam and Haston, as you are traveling with this caravan, seems to be pretty good. You are with about 30 other people, most of them merchants or hired hands to carry things, or even just guards. Whether or not you have accepted to do so, people seem to kind of look at both of you as a fighting person, a guard, just because of, well, you being a half-orc who seems to have some weird abilities, Liam. And Haston, actually, Haston, how would you be dressed? Same to Liam.
Medium size. Basically, pretty regular, just gray colored robes with scale mail over the top.
Okay. Are you presenting yourself as a cleric of Kelimvar?
Yeah, no, I have nothing to hide.
Okay. You seem to be relatively respected in this caravan, as far as you can tell. Just on the virtue of being a holy man who is not someone who is, a cleric of an obviously evil deity or something of that sort.
Yeah.
And Liam, what about you?
So, I just completely lost my mind here. What's the name of the wizard in Lord of the Rings?
Gandalf?
Gandalf.
Thank you, Gandalf. Jeez.
James Gandolfini.
So I'm basically dressed like Gandalf the Grey, wizard robe, staff. But it is a fine robe. It's not just the cotton. It's
You went to the good costume shop.
I had mine custom made by Garrick.
Okay.
Nice.
There's a few hidden pockets you don't know about.
Yeah.
No, so people aren't quite sure what to think of you for the first several days of the journey, as you get brought up into this caravan where people are like, well, is he just cosplaying? Like, what's going on here? We've heard of orcs and half orcs wanting to be wizards and stuff before, but they're generally shamanistic. Do you show off any of your abilities, or do you just...
I would not have a problem showing off just prestidigitation,
Okay, yeah, because people go out there and be like, hey, show us some magic, and you do some sort of trick that makes some sparks appear, as prestidigitation does. Clean some stuff, and like, oh, that's pretty
Start
good.
fires,
People are like, he's a real proper wizard. And people seem to kind of enjoy the novelty of this. Meanwhile, off in the bushes,
I would not be. I'm rather gruff about it, though. People just coming up to test me are you a wizard? You know, bugger
Yeah, well,
off.
yeah,
But-
they do, and it sounds like you probably get tired of that after a while. And they're not doing it just because it's a half-orc wizard. It's a wizard, right?
You know, if they need something, you know, like the campfire started, or you know, things like that.
Yeah.
You know,
You get asked to like start things like the campfire just as much as you get asked to pick things up and move them.
if it's to my benefit, then I will
Acquiesce.
ask. Good, yeah, I will acquiesce when it is to my benefit. Otherwise, I am either ignoring them or gruffly telling them to leave.
Yeah, I mean, you're not being asked any more or less than anybody else, so you don't feel like you're being singled out as far as you can tell. So, you know, this caravan has been moving for several days. Spirits have been relatively high. You've been passing through a wooded area as you get closer to a place. Don't worry, they're coming to you, Lord. As you get closer to this place that they call the Stop, which the caravan master, a human, an individual named Damazo, says, this is the best place to have a little bit of revelry before we head into the city proper. We can offload some of our more, on the low goods before we get into the more well-regulated areas. I can give you a little bit of money since you've been so good in helping escort this caravan and hauling some stuff off if you want to enjoy some time in the inn while you're there. And then we move on to Hillsfar the morning after.
We're stopping for the night?
Yeah. Right before we hit up Hillsfar.
Okay.
Meanwhile, back in the bushes, you hear as the lead wagon goes by.
You hear nothing. I got a stealth skill, dude.
No, you were hearing this as you hear as the lead wagon goes by. You hear that being said to what seems to be a very properly dressed half-orcish wizard.
He is a perfect person for me to rob. He looks
Yeah.
fancy.
And you see the wagon pass behind it. There seems to be sort of gray-robed holy man. There seems to be a couple of other merchants around there. There's like a gnome who seems to be a little too far into a drink that keeps mysteriously refilling as she's pulling it from a pouch along her side. There's actually a couple dragonborn leading what seems to be a very exotic wagon, trailing along the end. And what kind of strikes you as odd is there's like a dwarven company that seems to be with this as well. And both of you two, Liam and Heston, have noticed this as well. There seems to be about half a dozen dwarves dressed up in the regalia of the Emerald Enclave that are traveling with this caravan, who have kept mostly themselves. Laura, would you like to give us some lore about the Emerald Enclave?
I was just thinking, hang on. Let me just pull up a site because I'm going to...
Mark kind of studies this as this is going by, looking for targets.
Yeah, this is interesting. I'm not sure what they're doing here.
Yeah.
So for those of you not aware, I don't remember when they were founded. Does it say here?
It was a long time ago.
Yeah,
but
it's a really long time. Yeah, here we go. 347. Oh, yeah. I meant to ask. I did actually have another question.
Mm-hmm.
What year is it?
It is 1495.
Ah, that's right. It is later than I thought. Yeah, this is a good, for those of you at home, that would put this about 9 years after the Sundering, aka the beginning of 5th edition.
Mm-hmm.
So, and well after the spell plague has been dealt with. In fact, about a century after the spell plague, to give you
it's still something that is on people's minds, especially those who are still alive. But like, it's one of those past disasters.
Yeah, it's World War II, to use a real life parallel.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so the Enclave of the Emerald Jackasses is an organization of druids and nature worshippers who live on the island of, I can't pronounce that. Now, this is funny because
it's a really pretty place.
It's a very pretty place. To my knowledge, they didn't really do much until the spell plague hit, at which point they started becoming a lot more involved in things. For example, dealing with going after Cindermoon, who was an Eladrin, and going, apparently, they went into the Termish, plague lands in order to try and figure out what the hell was going on there. Oh, apparently they were spending a lot of time trying to deal with the consequences of the spell plague. Go figure. Let's see. They also, they apparently cured Cindermoon. Holy crap! How do you cure? Whatever. I'm not going to get into it.
There's a long story.
There's a long story there. So their big thing. Sorry, let's get on to it. Their big thing is they must preserve nature. We must control people's expansion. Nature encompasses more than just the forests. So they actually are one of the druids who acknowledge that there's more than just trees. They do think magic should not be used for mass destruction, which I think isn't really a druid thing so much as just a person with a brain thing.
That's a bad idea.
You got to state your tenets like that because sometimes people don't understand.
Yeah, that's fair. And now, one of the things, and this is the first thing that caught my attention, and apparently I was remembering correctly, they're not actually a unified organization. They're a loose coalition of people who disagree with each other a lot. The catch is they always try to present themselves externally as if they are one cohesive organization, when that is extremely not true.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a lot of internecine stuff going on. Oh, and as a final consequence, they tend to be anti-large-scale magic in general. So, some of the more fanciful elves of the Silver area or the Thays, that's all kind of a no.
Mm-hmm. So,
I miss anything relevant there?
No, I mean, not really. That's pretty much the general knowledge you would have.
Oh, yeah, they're also under Sylvanas. I should mention that. Oh, yeah, by the way, I should mention my character actually does have history.
That's true. If you want to roll history, as a matter of fact, if anyone in the caravan roll history or just a straight intelligence check, you can.
Watch me fail.
My dice are almost terrible. I got an 11.
11, okay.
That's with proficiency. Get rid of this. Write down for the GTA lore run. Thank you again, Senior Prosecutor.
Right. Destin?
Got a 10.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Which is interesting because I have no bonus for that.
Actually, so yeah, fair question, third. So what I just said was all out of character. What does my character know of what I just said?
So with a 10 or 11, and a 10, and Liam?
Which is this, history or just intelligence?
History int.
History, intelligence. If you don't have history, it's just intelligence.
Int,
So I got a 15.
Okay.
Jesus.
So if you got at least a 10, if you got at least a 10, here's what you know about the Emerald Enclave, because they're fairly well known. Generally, the work you've heard that they've been doing as of late is acting almost as frontier scouts, helping to lead settlers into places and making sure they don't mess up the place. And it has been somewhat successful as far as you have heard. That's what they've been doing lately, which is a little bit of a departure from what their history tells you about, rather. And you don't really know if druids are still even active in this because you haven't heard any rumors of druids being part of the Emerald Enclave like ever.
And
so,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so if you are someone who's been born within the last 100 years or so, they have been a frontier scouting group who generally strive to keep the balance between nature and man.
Now, real quick, I'm curious if any of us know of their involvement with the Tiamat incident of a few years ago, which all of us would have been alive for. So,
yeah. So
that's actually
history is a little weird. Wherein it doesn't actually, at least in the books, it doesn't actually give a date for occurrences like that. They are assumed to have occurred when you run.
Interesting.
So there is no Tiamat incident.
But that makes no sense.
I don't know. They're purposely doing that so you can kind of craft the world and not have, we just had suddenly 10 world catastrophes within the span of 3 years.
But that's how it's always been. Look at the 5 year span around second E.
I know there's been no Tiamat incident or anything in the past few years.
So that also means the Giants didn't happen. And
right.
Wait a minute.
And there's another one I can't remember.
If you've gotten at least a 15, here's what you know about the Emerald Enclave in addition to the 10. You do know that they have been trying to organize as a central faction for the past few years, basically bringing in all the enclaves and uniting them under a central command structure. They've had mixed success with that. But they've been inserting themselves into various parts of the governments, towns, cities around the entire Sword Coast region, which may be why you're seeing them here, not doing scouting stuff.
Okay.
They do all seem to be, and all three of you would notice this, they're all in all dwarves. They're all in the same type of uniform. They're very regimented. And they're all armed in like medium armor, some chainmail, and some swords, that sort of stuff. So they look like they're going with a purpose. But Mark, that's what you see. They would probably not be incredibly great targets because they are well known for their perception and scouting abilities. Yeah, there's not that many.
Dear God, we could take him.
What's that in the bushes?
How many there were, but
But
whatever.
you do see a lot of wealthy merchant types around here. And then there's a wizard. They seem to have their caravan
ladies.
cleric. They normally travel with at least one type of cleric for emergency purposes. What looks interesting?
Hang on, real quick. So I'm in the bushes, like over here.
Yeah.
Where are you two? Just for the sake of it, like imagine point. Like this is. God dang it! Come on, game. This is the direction you're going.
Mm-hmm.
So where are you guys at? What are you? What are you doing over there?
I'm on the road. What?
All right, I kill him. No.
We'll say you're watching from here and they're traveling along this way.
Okay, sure.
Here's your enclave, folks. Here's your wagon driver. I don't have a wagon out, so we'll just use this for it.
The grid isn't the same as the
Great, I'm in the bushes.
other grid.
Yeah, this is just a random thing I loaded, so don't worry too much about it.
There we go. Right about there.
And there's a couple wagons that keep going there. There's a couple other people around there. 30 targets. I'm sorry, people in total, along with 5 wagons.
Nothing
I'm
to see
a
here.
good guy. It's worth noting. Oh yeah. Speaking of which, if it matters, I meant to ask you if you care about alignments because I know that matters more in D&D than other rules.
Generally, it won't come up unless there are like items or spells or something.
That's what I figured. Okay. For the record, I picked chaotic good for me.
Okay. All right. The chaotic good monk waits in the bushes to rob the caravan.
Oh, by the way, for those of you at home, yes, I know you literally cannot be a monk unless you're lawful. Screw you. All right.
That
Play
roll-
by your rules.
If you want me to be lawful, I will.
No,
I can say that.
monks do not have to be any particular type of alignment.
I mean, I could be lawful good. That would be
Lawful neutral.
or lawful neutral. Yeah, that might actually work. But I'm leaning towards good because the idea really is to make things better, not more ordered.
Yeah, I think if you were part of a group that was hunting the Zentarum, you could make a good case for being a good aligned character.
Yeah. Anyway, so speaking of which, time to rob these innocent people. And no, I think what I'm actually going to do, legit, because I've been thinking about this. Where's my character sheet? I'm going to go ahead and just kind of try to basically stealth my way in, and then pretend I've always been part of the group.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, my outfit. I've actually already thought about this.
Yes.
And I have a very specific thing in mind, and I swear it's not because he's awesome. But I want, I actually have a picture here to remind you, because if you think of Jedi robes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you probably think of the later stuff, which they designed later, but I want the old Jedi robes, which I just linked a picture of. It's actually very basic.
Literal rags.
Yeah, basically just an old man's rags with like a suit underneath, and that's it. Really, really basic.
Okay.
That's what I'm going for. That's what I'm wearing.
Oh, Obi-Wan's. Okay.
Yeah, the original Alec Guinness basic outfit. Okay, so I also have a lights. No,
I knew it.
I would go. I could argue that. Just
You would lose that argument, but you could argue it.
I'm going to control my stealth here, and I really am. I'm just going to try and blend right in as if I'm. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Now, here's a good time to mention that we're going to be using the Platy rules.
That's right. Well, I don't want to give you a roll right now, so I'll just take the 8, which is what that is.
You sure?
I mean, I love failing.
Okay.
My dice will always be bad.
I'm sorry. I know this is not on purpose. I am imagining that Pathfinder game from Gen Con where you were playing a monk so long ago.
What? I just rolled a 1 using the dice tower, so I'll take the 8.
Okay, so you see the perfect opportunity. The third wagon is passing by. There seems to be a rather portly gentleman there, a human, kind of like just a little too far into telling this really weird story to his lady friend who's not really into it.
Oh my God! Stop! So Bragwin just said she blows on my dice, right?
Okay.
That'll
Now
help
that's-
your next roll.
Hang on. And you're telling a story about an old gentleman who's telling a weird story to his younger female companion. And instantly I think of the Royale in TNG, where there's the old Texan guy who's telling all these weird stories to the younger. You know what I'm talking about? You can picture it. And then he's like, blowing the dice, honey.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what's happening. He's like, and I told the Waterdhavian noble to go screw himself. He's like,
Yeah.
That's right.
And she just looks away as you are getting in there, and you can see that she just manages, it was pure dumb luck to spot
geez.
you as she looks over her shoulder to just look away from this guy, and she sees you kind of like creeping into.
It's okay. I've got persuasion.
She taps him on the shoulder and says,
oh, wait.
"Yeah, is that one of yours?" And he turns around and goes, "Hey, you there?
What can I do for you, sir?
Who you with?"
Well, of course, I know exactly who I'm with. Let me roll my history roll.
He kind of hops down off the wagon, hands the reins to her, and starts walking over to you, kind of motioning for you to walk with him.
What does an 8 history get me?
On what? On this guy?
On who I should pretend to be with? I swear this character isn't supposed to be built on a series of lies. I swear to God.
Yeah, where have we seen this before?
Find like a group that would not cause.
This character is not
trouble.
built to be deceptive. His charisma is not high. I only have persuasion because of my backstory.
I try to think of a group that would not be a problem if you were part of them.
What, sir?
What
Yes, a group that they would be like logical for me to be part of. Because if you remember, my character doesn't actually know this specific region all that well. Yes. I was sent up here from Cormier, which is like several days southwest of here.
Yeah.
No, it only works for stoneworking. Never mind.
Your mind just kind of like races for a moment, and you think that if you perhaps said you were part of one of the local faiths,
oh Jesus Christ,
then that would probably be the most accepted group.
Hail Sylvanas!
No.
I'm sorry. Hail Sylvanas. Oh, there we go.
No, probably one of the human deities.
Oh, I'm a dwarf. Okay.
There's dwarf clerics of human deities.
I know there are.
Popular ones. Let's see. What are the popular ones in Hillsfar? One of those.
That's a good question. Hang on. Let me pull up the Hillsfar thing really quick. Well, with an 8, you know what? I probably wouldn't even know if I'm being honest with myself. So,
these Tempest is probably one.
I was actually going to go with Kellenvor because he's really, really, really wide and light.
Okay, yeah, Kellenvor is pretty well known.
Yeah,
this will go well.
And that is deliberate. By
do I overhear this?
So what do you say?
Oh, excuse me, laddie. How much older than me is him? I'm like in my 20s.
Oh, you're a pretty young dwarf.
Yes, I am.
He's probably in his late 30s or 40s, although he hasn't done his body anything.
I apologize. I'm with the followers of Kellenvor. Oh, I should actually roll my persuasion, by the way. I do have that. So that's Jesus Christ. Well, that's an 11.
Find your dice where it's packed up.
Hang on. No, you know what? Hang on. Just out of curiosity, let's roll my real life D20 here. That's a 2. So I'm gonna pick up the digital one. So yes, I'm with. I was going in the direction of Hillsfar. That is the direction we're going in, right?
Yes.
I'm going in the direction of Hillsfar. I've got to head up with I forget the name of the camp outside of it. What those of my disposition tend to be. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't announce myself. I'm a follower of the great.
Toots. He's pointing at you, Haston. Toots, whatever your name is. I think you got one of your disciples over here.
I turn to him and I say, "Oh, Toots!"
By the way, I bombed that inside.
I was gonna say it's Taston, but
So I will.
think you got one of your.
I will gladly. I'm already moving towards Taston. I'm like just going with it.
He kind of pulls you aside, Taston. He says, "Listen, I caught him trying to sneak on. I don't know what's going on here, but keep him away from my wagon. All right, keep him up there near the front. Just throw him off the side of the wagon or something if he's trying to steal something.
Which is funny because I'm not.
All right, get away from here. Now, my dear, have I told you about the time I went to Neverwinter?
I kill him.
Just randomly.
No, I just wrong hand.
Yeah, he kind of jogs to catch up with the wagon and hops on. So, Taston, you apparently have this dwarf.
Taston. I'm sorry, what did you say your name was? Taston? Taston?
Taston.
It's a pleasure to meet you, sir. A fellow follower of Kellenvor. That's it. That's it.
Do you stumble over it?
Yeah, no, in character, I am stumbling over this.
Okay, so
I am not a good liar. I am built to not be a good liar.
do I roll for a counter of that?
I am
in
making
some
it
sort?
so obvious that you don't.
Okay, so we're gonna skip.
That's the point.
Well, it's always good to meet another brother of the order.
And I like visibly. Oh, thank God he bought it.
So, what can I do for you?
Do for me. I'm just trying to get to Hillsfar. I'm trying to look, and then I cut myself off. Like, I've heard there's some doing-ons recently that deserve looking into.
Well,
You notice I'm not even trying to roll persuasion for any of this.
Yeah. So, well, you're welcome to travel with me. I'll be heading to Hillsfar, but it's probably best to stay close to me as the followers need to stay together, and you don't want to spook the good people with too many tales of death as we have.
Of course. Can I retcon something third for humor?
Okay.
When I'm talking to the guy, I want to drop the phrase ham sandwich in the middle of my speech. He's not going to react, obviously. But that I just wanted, I thought, I was just having a ham sandwich on the.
You notice that he's starting to make himself a sandwich.
Yeah, there you go.
So odd.
I just had a sudden hankering for a good old ham.
Anyways, yes, I'm not actually familiar with these areas, and at this point I just like drop all pretenses. I don't know where I'm even going exactly. I know Hillsfar roughly in this general area, but I've never even been, and I know that there is, the humankind aren't allowed in there, or rather non-humankind. Excuse me, I can't even get my facts straight. Oh, forgive me. It's been a very long day, and I start brushing off like some of the soot that is still on me from the attack that just happened, basically.
Well, do you have any supplies, or are you traveling lightly?
Well, I've got my beard, I've got my weights, got my clothes,
And that will surely see you through. Come, brother. Let us journey.
Thank you very much, sir. And are you on a wagon or are you walking?
I'm walking next to.
Okay, so I'll just like
if this is the wagon here.
Yeah,
I'm walking.
Your position was essentially up near the front wagon.
I'm like here. Oh, it's not letting me. There we go. Just like right alongside him there.
Yeah.
So, Liam, you see the Holy Man of Kellenvor. What you probably know his name is Taston at this point in time because he's been asked to bless food and stuff several times during the journey.
Makes sense.
He comes back with seemingly a disciple or somebody that he's picked up along the side of the road. You notice that the wagon master has taken notice of this. So Damaso has been looking over at you and then looking at him, and he's like, "So, Liam, what do you make of this? You think it's trouble?"
It's probably just a beggar.
I think so. There's been a lot of tricks on the road as of late, so you got a studious eye. Let me know if you see anything weird with him.
Now I'm expected to watch the beggar.
No, I can make it worth. I can make it worth your while. And he kind of motions to his verse, both at at our stop and at Hillsfar. I'm just a bit on edge when random people join the wagon train. You understand?
Very
Liam's thinking,
well.
"No, not at all."
He kind of looks at you and then grins. He says, "Look, I trust you. All right, you've been doing good throughout this caravan. I know you've been very, very, very patient everybody going up and asking you to do your spark trick again, which I wouldn't mind seeing myself, but
I'm not making any promises.
I can't ask you to.
But if he does anything untoward, I'll let you know.
Thank you. All right, so
Yes.
we find some loot.
We found the thing. I would like to engage Aston. So again, no subtlety, no tact, right?
Mhm.
Basically, I'm gonna be like, "So, you seen any demons lately?" And just like launch right into that with Aston.
I stop walking and turn and look at him.
Oh, what? We're gonna fall behind.
I'm
The,
sorry.
Demons and bad things. And look, I've heard stories that there's occult summonings going on in this
Okay.
area.
I grab you by the front and
What?
walk you back into the bushes and like, what have you heard?
What if I?
What have you heard?
What do you mean? What I haven't heard? What are you talking about?
What do you know about demons?
I know they're bad and they need to die. And I say that very sincerely, by the way.
Third, do I notice?
Are you actually keeping an eye as you were asked to?
Yes. Unless yes. Amazon kind of like gives you an eye, like I told you.
All right, so I will step out of the caravan and basically wait nearby as this conversation is happening.
Demons. Okay, so I'm going to just to save on a little bit of time. After very little convincing, I'm going to go ahead and tell Taston, listen, I'm with the orders of I'm with the Order of the North. I'm here on I hesitate to call it a mission, but my entire unit was just wiped out by a demon summoner of the Zentarum, and I'm trying to look into. I'm not the only one. We've got a couple of us around here, but I'm looking into the area because Zentarum demon summoning, that's a little unusual in general, especially in this region.
Okay,
So that's
so I let you. Okay,
and I really do just lay it out there, like just
okay. So I let you go back. I apologize.
no apology necessary. I mean, I shouldn't have even made a fuss. I rolled a 3 and it was terrible.
I tried really hard to think about it ahead of time. Yeah,
I did, but it went very badly. All the dust. I figured it'd be easy, but no, Mr. Fat Jackass up there. Talking about his being a Neverwinter. I've been the Neverwinter. I don't think that person's even seen the light of day of Neverwinter. Anyway, sorry.
okay. So we're gonna be fine. We're not gonna say anything about this. I don't want to spook the rest of the caravan.
So you have, is what you're telling me.
I don't know if it's related, but I've had dealings similar. I don't know if it's part of the. Okay, and this is probably going to throw people off. I call it the Zentrum because that's just how I've read it in books, and I probably mispronounce it all the time. Is it actually pronounced Zentarum?
It's officially it's Zentarum.
Yeah, I've actually heard
Okay.
them.
I've been mispronouncing it in my head for years because I've read multiple books with the word in there. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
the
I have the
Zentrum.
exact same thing. Yeah, it's when I hear them say it, I'm like, oh, I need to like try to
Zentarum.
adjust.
Okay, so
Zentarum.
yeah, I can't link it to the Zentarum, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. I've had dealings with undead because, unlike you, I am a cleric of Kellamvor.
I start laughing in character too. Like, is it that obvious? Oh,
But
I'm not much of a liar. You can probably tell.
so,
I'm good at punching things.
all right, I'll file that away for later. But yeah, I don't really want to talk about this too much in the open because it's going to spook the caravan people. We're just trying to quietly make it to their destination, and then we could talk about it once we're away from prying ears.
Now, one of the reasons I went into this caravan initially, this is to the GM, is that I was thinking this might be a good group to spook, to basically say, are there any Zentarum agents in here? That kind of thing, right? Now, I would like to make an argument that given the fact that I've been specifically helping hunt Zentarum for a while, I would actually get a bonus of some kind to rolling to see anything that might indicate a Zentarum agent. So I would like to have done that roll at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and roll it.
Well, before we do that, there's still one matter we got to resolve.
I rolled a 15. I want that on camera here. It's actually not
It's
on
on
camera.
camera.
There. It's 15.
Liam,
Yes.
you went off to see what was going on with them, correct?
I stepped away from the caravan, yes.
Were you trying to get close enough to listen, or just keep an eye on them?
I would not be subtle.
Russell.
Just boom, right there.
he's standing 5 feet from us. Like,
Yeah, I can just imagine you two like sitting there. You're both facing into the bushes, like talking about this, and you're like, "Okay, break." And you turn around and look
turn around,
up.
he's
and
just
he's
right there.
standing-
right there.
Where is my perception score?
But no, it's not escape.
I'm not being stealthy. I'm not being subtle.
Yeah.
I got the dirty look from the caravan guy. They're doing something weird. Fine, I'll go investigate.
Yes.
And yeah, I am not happy about having this task.
So thanks both Mark and Aston, it has not escaped your notice that the wizard kept an eye on you during this meeting.
Yeah.
Not in a hostile manner, I assume.
No, he's just eyeballing.
Just generally.
Yeah. That's actually lines up perfectly, because I was going to say, I noticed you have a wizard in the camp, and by the camp I meant the caravan, and I know that's a little unusual. Have you seen him do anything untoward?
Meanwhile, he's standing like right next to them listening to this.
Yeah, he's like, well, he's right there. You can ask him.
Oh,
Yeah,
actually, it's more like this, because he's so much
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like 10 to 15 feet away. I can just hear the conversation if you're actually talking loud enough. If you're whispering, I'm not going to hear it, but I can see, if you're doing anything that's...
Well, again, no subtlety, so I'm probably whispering, but I'll be like...
Ill temper for travel aside,
They're obviously motioning towards you.
he's been just as any other wizard I've ever met. Not that I've met a lot of them, but
It doesn't sound like a very good thing, but it does mean that's better than not. Okay, good.
I mean,
Just wanted to make sure.
for a half orc, he seems conversational, if not.
Well, if you'll give me a
Superior.
minute, let's go ahead and get back into the caravan before it passes us. I'd like to, with your permission, sir, I'd like to do a little bit of a walkthrough. Maybe see if there's anything untoward I can. And I rolled a 15. I'd really like to get that in there.
I know this is going to happen when you're going back.
So
Case into place.
I'm not opposed to that, but I will be with you the entire time.
That works for me.
Okay.
2 eyes are better than 4 eyes are better. 2 eyes are.
Are they a set of eyes? Is it 2 sets of eyes, or is it just 4 eyes? I
Sets
don't
of
know.
eyes are better than 1. There we go. Look at that.
You're not a beholder. How many eyes do you have? How
Oh
many eyes
God!
do you
Let's
see?
not get into that.
Liam, you notice that they're arguing about really weird things now. And then you realize that the caravan is passing you by.
Yeah, we're getting
Yeah,
back
So
in.
we're like back over here now.
Yeah, and I roll a 15. Damn it!
And Liam, hold on, Liam, I'm assuming you go back to the caravan.
So if they are... Actually, the question then becomes, do I hear any part of the conversation of they're going to case the caravan?
I probably should roll an actual stealth roll for that.
Yeah, make a perception check, Liam.
So hang on. I just want to preserve that 15. Oh, nice. That's a 17 on my stealth to not be heard.
Right. And
That didn't work.
Oh, you're using that.
19.
Oh, wow.
And that was perception, so that's
Yes.
a 22.
Damn.
yeah, you hear not like 100% of it, but you get like, yeah, you're pretty sure you hear what they're going to do. You get the gist of it. You hear specific words and sentences. Yes.
So, as they make their way into and around the caravan, I will follow them. I'll say at a discreet distance, but not a not an intimidating distance, but close enough that I can still maintain basically spying on them, but
Okay.
obviously spying on them.
Okay. Now let's see. Is there anything else I can bring up to put off this 15?
I think it's
No!
leering. I think it's leering if it's obvious.
All right. So you're at leering distance. You're not intimidating
Right.
distance. That is still okay.
My defense is lowered. So that's
All right.
actually a 17 total, so whatever. My perception or whatever.
All right. So you know for the most obvious signs to look out for. You know the Zents, kind of stupidly, love to have some sort of symbolism of a winged snake somewhere on them. That's the number one telltale sign that they are part of the Zentarum.
Yep.
So hide it more than others. A lot of them are just like, hey, I'm in a gang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Showing up the tats.
Yeah. So you do a cursory inspection of everyone, making sure to look real closely at Texan there.
Oh, yeah.
He's obvious. He could be Zentarum. You don't know. From what you see on this initial inspection, as you try to make note of everybody, even the Emerald Enclave, just in case, you don't see any signs that indicate any of them are a member of the Zentarum.
Okay. I just want to make sure, because that was a 17, laddie.
Now, if they have possessions that give themselves away, or if they're higher rank members,
I'd have to
probably
actually-
wouldn't be able to tell.
Yeah.
But you don't see any like Zent thugs, basically.
I'm going to go ahead and get back to test and say, so I didn't see anything obvious. If there's anyone real here, I wouldn't be able to see them with a glance, but there's no one overt, so that's a good sign at least.
Would I know any sort of elements of what to look for, either like in my time of traveling with this caravan, thinking back if anything seemed kind of out of the ordinary or odd?
You know what? Go ahead and make me just a history check, and I'll let you use either wisdom or intelligence, experience or studiousness.
Okay. Well, it's going to be wisdom because intelligence is flat 0.
Okay. Fair enough.
We have only
16
one
plus 3, so 19.
19. All right. Kind of passing notes with Mark. I keep wanting to say Mark.
Here, I'll go back to Mark.
You kind of come to the same conclusion as him. You kind of know the same things as him as to what to look for. You've probably, in addition to him, met a couple of them, probably low-ranking members in your lifetime.
Okay.
And they're generally no more than common street thugs that belong to a really big gang, as far as you've experienced.
Okay.
Nothing more than like a winged snake tattoo or even an emblem or something like that. It's normally a tattoo, normally a really bad one too.
Okay.
They've caused trouble in your area before, but no more than any of the other gangs.
Okay.
But you could spot one if you really had to. Liam, so you're back there keeping a watch on them.
Yep.
And someone says something behind you. It sounds like one of the dwarves from the Enclave that you've heard talking here. Is something going on? And kind of like just give a quick glance over your shoulder, and you see a female, red-haired Emerald Enclave scout, dressed in the regalia, with a bow over her shoulder and whatnot, just kind of like peering around you, trying to figure out what's going on. Says, is there some sort of trouble? People have been diving into bushes, and you've been following them. Just wondering if there was anything going on we needed to be worried about.
Just some children. I had the perfect word too. It's just childish shenanigans.
Oh, she looks around you again and she says, "Oh, that's quite a young dwarf. Doesn't look a day over 60.
As I said, childish shenanigans.
All right, I see. Well, sorry to bother you. I was just worried." She kind of turns around. Oh, believe me, I understand. I understand. Good man. And she kind of gives you a look, like she's not quite sure, but she turns around to her little company. You notice they were all watching her, and she kind of gives a little signal like everything's all right, and then goes back to them. All right. Is there anything that anyone would like to do before driving along further? 'Cause
Yes.
It doesn't seem okay. What is it?
Mortal Combat.
Mortal Kombat.
I approached Liam. And dun, 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 dun. Oh, God.
Yeah, Guido, so far I love how your character like just barely can't be bothered. Like, really? I need to deal with this today? Really?
I love that barely can't be bothered.
No, and it's great as an attitude for your character. It was like, really? This is what I have to deal with today? This kind of
This is what I'm reduced to.
exactly.
I love this. I can kind of see people just like slotting into roles already. All right. So Liam, you're on babysitting duty.
Yep.
You're kind of on babysitting duty as well.
Ish.
Mark, you're on the lookout for Zents, demons, all that sort of stuff still, correct?
Mhm.
Now you're still hungry.
I'm starving, but it's a good squire's job to not think about that sort of thing unless it really comes into call.
Tassin, roll me an insight check.
Okay.
Something that clerics should be good at.
Mhm.
And if are you trying to hide the fact that you're looking for a meal, Mark? Or do you not care if somebody notices that you're wanting?
I suppose I don't really care. I'm not. It's
Do I still need to
deception
roll it?
doesn't really occur here.
Yeah. Insight.
Okay.
Wisdom insight. Okay, just
I suppose the bigger question is, can we hear his stomach?
That is a possibility. I probably haven't eaten since I
roll straight up d20.
Okay.
You got a 5. Is that what you said?
No, I rolled a 1
Oh,
on a
okay.
d20.
Okay. You've
So I was
probably
like-
seen wanting people come in before, but you just don't notice it this time.
Just yeah. Anyway.
5.
Okay.
Yeah,
straight
it
up
kind of
D20.
does a little bit, Mark. And Tastin, you hear like a quick.
Oh, okay. I rummage around in my robes a little bit, look for like I'm part of a trail ration or something,
Okay.
and without saying anything, just hand it to him.
Oh no, I couldn't.
Take it, please.
It's not really. I'm not actually all that hungry, right? Rob, shut up.
Look,
I'm
from
not-
somebody who knows what hunger is, don't just take it.
Thank you, Sarah. And I eat while walking. I assume we're still walking. We haven't stopped
Yeah,
for the night
yes.
yet.
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know if this is familiar to Tastin or not, but this kind of seems like somebody almost down on their luck, wanting something to eat.
That's the thing. It's like it immediately once I finally notice, because I was kind of thrown off by his comment about demon summoning, and immediately that threw me for a loop. And so
I can't imagine why.
slowly coming back to my senses, like, okay, yes, I coming from someone living in the streets, I'm very well aware of, like, you get your food where you can and you don't ask questions. Like, just take this. I obviously do not need this anywhere near what you do. So, here you go.
And you get a little bit to eat, probably for the first time in quite a while. What in the world is that? What's your bag of rice?
It's a
Oh,
bag
that was
of
a napkin. I was like,
All right. So you get a little bit to eat. We're feeding each other now. What next? And
I'm just waiting until we get to the.
yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of time left in the day, and it's within the hour you get to the place that they call the stop. This looks like it was fairly recently built. There are probably about a dozen buildings of pretty new construction around here in general, human style. You see a large number of wagons parked around the outside, almost in a kind of a defensive line, but they're fairly haphazard, if that. There is already a sound that you hear before seeing it of people shouting their wares, people drinking, people eating, and it seems like there's a lot of sound coming from such a small area. There's a little palisade around this place, looks newly constructed, and as you're getting closer and it's getting darker, they're lighting some lanterns. There's a human that's coming out and lighting lanterns that seem to be making their way up to the gates of this palisade. And Damaso says, well, here we are, the stop. And he turns around to look for Liam. I don't know if Liam is anywhere near him.
Hold up, third. You just got really quiet.
I just got really quiet. I don't know why. It must have adjusted me. Hold on. Let me just set this to loud. All right, I'm just going to leave it there.
Oh, geez.
There we go. That is a lot louder.
Okay.
You're also freezing up on the chat things. I don't know, or the
Yeah, you're frozen on Zoom.
Doom. That's the kind. Oh, that,
And we're back.
oh, God.
Okay.
Hang on, I got to rearrange all the.
Okay. Sorry.
You are not the GM, Cadiz. Sorry.
Oh, suddenly the roles reversed.
Yes.
Okay, no, that is a
Shoes
little
on the
too
other
loud.
foot now. You will
Third,
all
that is-
pay.
third. Turn it down a little bit.
Okay.
I know, but you're literally burning it. You're hitting the red.
All right.
Yeah.
How's that?
There we go. Okay.
Okay.
God. So here's the stop. Sorry for the interruption.
Yes, the stop. It seems welcoming. And Liam, are you still kind of wandering around the area, keeping an eye on them?
I'm still babysitting.
Okay. The wagon master kind of motions for you to come on over.
To me? Oh, okay.
I come on over. No,
Okay, you can come on over if you want.
no.
He kind of like pushes some coin into your hand, and he says, "That's for staying here before we get the hills far, and for keeping an eye on our." What do you make of those two?
Children. That's what I make of them.
I see. Well, in that case, he pulls a little extra out and he says, "This is for the cleric, and I guess the other one can do whatever he wants. If you can just make sure that gets to him, get a good night's sleep. There's some stuff to do around here if you're interested in some night entertainment before you head off to sleep. But we'll leave as soon as we can in the morning.
Very
And hills
well.
far, by mid-afternoon. All right,
Okay.
you've got that. The other people start to get off and make their way over there, securing their goods. There's a couple of guards that are left here. The guy finally stops chatting with the woman who seems to have already fallen asleep, and he hasn't noticed. And he gets off, says, "I'll see you in the common room," and he just leaves her there. So you got some coin?
So, what was the coin given to me in? Or, I mean, was it a pouch or was it just coins
Yeah, he
in
just
my
pushed
hand?
the
Or
silver into your hand, and you look at it, and it's like 5 silver, which is enough for a couple good nights sleep and some beer if you really want it, or some other things.
okay, so what I'm gonna do is cast Mage Hand
Okay.
to hold the coins,
Okay.
and
Okay.
and
So
and I'm going to walk over to Mark and Taster,
Mhm.
Tassin, whatever. Tassin?
Dastin.
I figured it
Mott.
out.
Good roll.
It's all gonna go bad. Yeah.
Mark and Mott. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
And this hand is holding coins. These are for you.
I just
I'll-
let Taston take the lead here.
I'll take the coins. Thank you, Liam.
And the hand vanishes.
Sorry to be a burden.
All right.
I will walk away, but I'm not actually leaving because I'm still watching them.
Gotcha. So you do the thing where you walk away and then very obviously turn around and just
Yeah.
like watch them.
It's like you're keeping a perimeter.
Pretty much.
All right. So you you see that you notice that the Emerald Enclave folks as well. One of them kind of like the dwarf that was conversing with you before, Liam, just kind of like looks over his shoulder and like gives you an eye like, all right, what's going on now? And then turns around and follows her company up to the tavern. And assuming you don't want to be left out in the dark here with the wagons and the guards.
I stay out in the wagons with the dark.
So
That's not a joke.
If you would like
I'm
to.
going to get myself in position, kind of kneel, I'm just going to start meditating.
Okay.
Which is actually a way of me keeping my senses alert, too, because I can hear stuff coming.
I'm going to go inside.
So, Liam.
Of course.
So I'm going to stand there and watch Mark begin to meditate. And then I'm going to walk over and are you like sitting in the like...
Oh yeah, I'm doing the whole kneel. I know you can't see my legs, but I'm kneeling here at my hands at my side. I'm just kind of...
So I'm going to kick your feet.
Without budging, I'll say, is there something I can help you with, sir?
You inside now.
Now, at this, I'm going to pause and look up, and I am legitimately befuddled. Why? Like, this is just a totally innocent, like, I don't understand. Why?
Because it has been asked of you.
By whom?
By more than me.
So while this is going on, I'm getting a full round, like 3 rounds, like three tankards for the table that I'm at.
Yeah, so Task,
Getting like 3 things of food.
This place is packed. It's like going to one of those dining establishments where you're like,
so I'm up at the bar getting
Yeah.
stuff. Okay. Yeah, and I'm
There's
already
like-
tipsy.
There's so many merchants around here. There's so many people hawking their wares. This seems like this place is just burst up. This seems they need some expansion room.
Okay.
Yeah, but they're more than happy to serve you here. This place is lively. They're keeping stuff flowing very quickly. There's even some music up there where there's tieflings sitting there playing the waterphone. No, he's playing some sort of stringed instrument up there, and people are getting into it. This is a pretty wealthy establishment.
Okay.
But they give you what you can pay for.
Okay. So
I just want some beer. You got that.
basically grab 3 beers and some bread and cheese, and then try and see if I can find a table that can seat 3 people.
Yeah, you have to sit there and like poach it for like a minute before like a couple of people leave, and then grab a table.
Okay.
It's a TGI Fridays, apparently.
Yeah.
On Friday.
Get one of those RFID things that have the blinky lights on them when the table's ready.
Yes.
And I'll stand outside.
You got a stone that has like a little marker on it.
Yeah. So, perfect. Oh, the rune's glowing. Our table's ready.
Yeah, exactly. But they break down all the time. Okay. So that's what you're doing inside. It's going to take a few minutes.
Okay.
While back outside, the woman wakes up from the wagon since you're sitting there kicking and talking, and she's looking at this curiously before she goes inside. What's going on? Mark, you've been asked to go inside.
My character is so befuddled. I suppose I can... Sir, I don't have the money to stay at an establishment like this, and it's not like the cold bothers me any then. Where I come from, it gets about twice this cold.
Your lodging has already been paid for. That was the gift from earlier.
All right. Very hesitant. Like, just, this is like the most alien thing to have. All right. I'll go ahead and get up very slowly. Come up to about your knee.
And I step back. I don't want to be within arm's reach of
I pick his pocket really... No,
the
I'm
peasant.
actually, do I have sleight of hand? I do not. Damn. I do have acrobatics, though. I cartwheel and... No. All right. Well, I guess I'll head in, I suppose. Just after looking at it, looking at Liam just really weird, like twice. Like, and then just shaking off, walking inside. And I basically look for... No, I fixed it, Guido.
Okay.
The problem is, so if I mute myself on stream, which I just did, you guys can still hear me just fine.
Oh.
So I forgot to unmute myself on stream. But I try to do that because I have the ducking set up, and I don't want to unset it up because it's a pain to do. So I try to just flat mute myself when you guys are talking. Anyways, I look around for Taston. I want to roll for this because it's really busy right now.
I was going to say, like, I'm keeping an eye on the door, like, over here, guys.
It's one of those things where you're like, I'm over here.
Okay, I actually got a decent roll. It's 15.
So, yeah, okay. So, yeah, so you see him over there. He's like, oh, I got a seat.
Where is there is hey
the woman who was watching this and got woken up follows you in. She's just kind of rubbing sleep out of her eyes, and she's like, oh, I guess I'll go find that guy again. Maybe he has a table. And so you three get seated at a table. Within this madness, you're getting bumped occasionally by, the stray dwarf or whatnot who's carrying a few too many beer mugs around. It's hot in here. The music is lively. Just a scene if you like to party. And you have some beer. It's somewhat okay. Oh wait, what's this? Close in chat. Is this food? Bacon wrapped crab stuffed barbecue peppers. Sure, that's what they're serving.
Dude, yeah.
Oh my god.
Can I start you with some apps?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yes.
That's what we made tonight.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
You suck.
And I can no longer grab my icon.
No, this my internet's acting up, I think.
Yeah, it's being weird again.
Can you still hear me at least?
Off and on.
Off and on.
Can you still hear me?
You're breaking up. You're max headrooming.
Yeah.
Hello?
Oh.
Hello.
Hold on.
You're back-ish.
You're technically
Your
there.
ping is 999.
Yeah, I noticed that in game.
Am I clear now?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, there's been something going wrong with the internet here lately. They had a power surge, and it hasn't been right since.
Oh.
So hopefully, I'm at least understandable now.
Yes.
Okay. So
It really does not want you to
It's getting
be.
farther and farther out the door.
That's what he actually wants to do. He just wants to get out of here.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not wrong.
Yeah. Why can't I leave?
yeah. Hey, Liam, at the very least, these are more upscale people. It's not a bunch of dirty peasants in a dockside bar.
Yeah, better than nothing.
In fairness, I am probably pretty dirty right now, and I am definitely in peasant's robes.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those rare situations where it's not high class enough that people are like, oh, he's dirty. But it's like an upper middle class thing, right?
Actually, can I take that back? Are you
Yeah.
going to let me do that, Jim?
It depends on what it is.
I want to actually be pretty clean. Like
Okay,
unusually clean, to the point where Liam might even notice that I'm obviously taking effort to keep my robes clean and to keep myself showered, and my beard is actually, trimmed and styled and not just all over the place.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sure.
I'm obviously putting effort into looking decent is the point here, because I would. This character would do that. Make of that what you will, Liam. It occurred to me I shouldn't actually look like I'm this whole time.
Can I make a request in that case?
What's up?
Roll a charisma performance check
Oh, jeez. Okay.
to see
Probably
how
best.
good you look.
Where's performance? All right. So this is a 0. But I rolled 19.
Okay. So my passive perception is only a 13. I would say, since you so soundly beat my passive perception, I absolutely take note of it.
Okay. Honestly, you probably don't notice until now. Like, the light was already going down.
Mm-hmm.
It was
and
outside.
I was outside, and you didn't care that much.
Yeah.
But you get inside in the light, and you notice, man, I probably actually look cleaner than most of the other people around here, with the possible exception of yourself.
Not as fancily dressed, but cleaner.
Oh yeah, I'm not fancy. I'm wearing peasant's robes, but they are very well kept.
Yeah. All right.
Suspiciously well kept. All right. So the question is, how long do you want to stay in this scene? How long would you like to be in this tavern? Because this seems like it could go on for quite a while.
So what I'm thinking, I got to share something real quick. So I've got the adhesive right here.
Uh-huh.
I was using, and it's right in the exact spot where my drink usually is. And three
Ooh.
times this night, I've been like, nope.
Nope.
And I catch myself each
Nope.
time. Yeah, I've reached for it like 3 times tonight.
Don't do it.
Anyways, what do you guys think? I mean, we could just role play because Lord knows Liam hates our guts right now.
So I've
here's
noticed how clean you are.
Yeah. Okay.
I need to do a stealth roll.
Okay.
All right, what are you trying to
boy.
Oh, geez.
Casting Prestidigitation.
Ooh,
Oh,
okay, so let's go into trying to cast a spell unnoticed.
Okay.
So unless you are a sorcerer who can do subtle stuff, it is either a roll of a couple things. You can choose either to do like a sleight of hand, which is basically passing off your emotions as something normal.
Right.
A deception, which is just straight up, deceiving people into thinking that you're not casting the spell when you're doing it blatantly in front of them.
Right.
Or stealth, which is literally hiding the act behind something. Since you're in an incredibly crowded area, you may attempt either one of these. Although I will say this, normally if you stand like directly in front of someone, there's very little you can do to disguise the fact that you're casting a spell. But in a situation like this, for sure.
So I'm going to try and do the sleight of hand to make it look like I'm inspecting the beer. It's
kind of taking a swig, kind of standing back when you're actually doing the motions.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's okay. Make me a sleight of hand check.
Roll really low; it'll be funnier.
Yeah, I know.
Because am I going to feel the magic?
12. So that
being
makes
cast
that
next to
a
me?
15.
15.
That beats my passive.
Yep.
Beats mine.
Okay. So please describe what you do with this spell.
So I'm and suddenly the bottom of your robes are just completely soiled, like you've been walking through mud.
Now, what's funny is I'll notice this immediately.
Yeah, you like somebody bumps you and you like out of the corner of your eye, you're like, wait a minute.
Wait, what?
This did not come in here like this. And there's no way somebody did this in the meantime.
Yeah, that is legitimately confusing because I know how well I keep myself.
Yes. What does the soiling look like? How did you soil them?
Like I said, it just looks like you walked through a giant, like, foot deep of mud.
Okay. And there wasn't any mud out there. It's so weird.
All right, I turn to my friend Tast and say, "Please better give me. I'm going to need a few minutes." And I get up and I leave.
Oh, okay.
And I go outside.
The food's almost here.
I'll be right back. And I go to find some water to go immediately wash.
Okay, there's a well in the center of a town, which is not as populated as the surrounding area.
And I'm really, I do the meticulous thing. It's like, okay, I get this.
If he leaves the bar, that means I have to follow him.
This plan is already bad.
Yes. Oh, split the party!
Are you trying to disguise the fact that you're leaving the bar and watching him?
No, I'm not being subtle.
Perfect. So, Mark,
Great. So
you're over
I'm
there. You're
getting the
washing
food.
You look over to the left of you. You notice that that same woman.
I know. You want me to go inside. Give me a minute.
In there, getting a drink, and she's like, "You didn't roll in some sort of pigsty before you came in here."
Yeah, it's very strange. I'm not actually sure where it came from, to be honest with you. I usually keep myself rather much cleaner than this.
He's like, "Well, if you hem it up around near, you're here, you'll avoid getting that all over the bottom of it."
I just had a really funny thought, but I'll do that later. So I actually grab one of the brushes. I have to scrub and throw it. However long it takes me, I'm thorough.
She actually hands you some stuff. She seems to have a lot of instruments.
Oh, thank you, Lassie. Very much appreciated.
Makeup and stuff on her, and
Oh, also, I do the exact opposite thing of the old snobby guy. I ask her for a story.
Oh, she says, oh.
Now, where are you from? I mean, what's your tale, lassie?
Well, I don't think we've been properly introduced. My name is
My dear.
Gabra Desora.
Apologies, my name is Mark Ironman.
Mm-hmm.
Of the Iron Fist clan back on Sword Coast. You've probably never heard of them. They're a ways from here.
She goes to check. Says, no, I'm afraid I haven't. I apologize. I'm mainly an archaeologist, you see.
An archaeologist?
I could tell you about a tale from when I was uncovering some of the ruins of Mantle Dareth.
Really? Hang on, let me roll really quick. Where's my dice? Where's my dice go? There it is. Wong. That's going to be a 14. Do I recognize this place?
Mantle Dareth. Yes. This is a trading city.
It was a trading city?
Well,
she's excavating the ruins of it, so that's relevant.
Well, yep, yes. Yeah, it was a trading city.
Okay.
Yeah. You kind of swear that you maybe heard her wrong or something, because this place is rumored to be an underground Durgar city. It says, yes, I've been traveling back there to and from, trying to uncover some of the ancient mysteries of it. Not much, I'm afraid. You know how it goes. Archaeology is rather boring work, contrary to what the rumors would tell you. But there was one instance when I found a particularly interesting blade, you see. As a matter of fact, a rather large cache of blades. The interesting thing about these is they had no actual blade on them. It was just the hilt, but it looked like they had been designed to hold something invisible. We gave them to our wizard, and he was able to activate several of them. And wouldn't you know it, they were an entire cache of invisible blades. It was the most fascinating thing. Duergar make, I never really was able to find anything quite like them, even in some of the other major cities like Waterdeep. That's really the most fascinating thing I found as far as my digs have gone. I don't know.
I don't suppose you called them lightsabers, Lassie.
Lightsabers? No, there wasn't anything light about them. No, the blades were literally invisible.
Yeah, I thought you were going with a slightly different direction for that.
You thought they might have been a sun sword, is that right?
Exactly. See, you understand.
No. I know what a sun sword is.
Of course.
These were nothing like that.
Like you. What species is she?
She looks human.
She looks human. That's great.
That's not a trick.
Yeah.
It looks like she's
a human.
She's a succubus. I'm gonna die at level 0 in this session.
If you'd like, go ahead and make me a perception check, though.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Wong, my
Yeah,
garbage.
you can as well.
So I rolled a 6.
All right, that's a good roll.
No, it isn't.
Can I chime in here?
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming since I followed him, I'm still within earshot.
Yes.
I'm not bothering to keep my voice down at all.
Right.
I don't know about
I'm going to speak up and. Are you sure they weren't just handles with no blades?
She turns to the start like she didn't see you. Like, oh no, my friend, I'm very sure. That's what we thought initially too. But our wizard was able to, I don't know exactly how, but to activate them, and they cut just as well as any other normal blade. But the blade was still invisible. An assassin's weapon, I presume. Now, why you would really want to have the blade invisible, I don't know, because you still had the hilt. But that's one of the many mysteries.
So I just rolled a 17 on history.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to figure out how much my character knows about the Duergar.
Yes. I mean, you know of them. You know that they're basically being a dwarf, you'd know this.
Yeah, I know that they're bad, but
you know generalities about them for sure. Like they have underground cities. They are generally seen as being evil yet very industrious. Some would say more industrious than the dwarves and more unified in some instances.
And those people are wrong.
Yeah, but that's what they say.
They're just wrong. They don't understand.
But you cannot deny that Duergar goods are very well made. They send merchants up to the surface sometimes. Some people go down to trade with them, but that's a very dangerous journey.
Yeah.
Especially since they're generally kind of xenophobic.
A little bit.
They are slavers.
And slaves. That's
Yep.
the best part.
And you know that they, as far as any specific cities, that's something they try to keep close to their chests. So although you know that there are large cities, are underneath the ground, as far as exact locations or anything, I don't know.
Okay, so I'm going to just kind of casually mention, I'm surprised a spirited young woman like yourself would make the trip to the Underdark for something so, as you yourself say, boring as archaeology.
Well, I get paid rather well, you understand.
Someone pays for that. It's genuine
yes.
surprise.
Oh, yes, there are many people. Surely you would know. There are many people who form groups and venture into dangerous places in search of magic artifacts. Surely you've heard about this before.
Blank stare.
No, it's very true. People do that. But I am taken along because I can readily identify things which are valuable. These hilts would have been tossed away if I had not detected a certain magic about them. They had some ruins along the hilt.
Ruins?
You have to have a keen eye.
I am rather fond of a good set of ruins. What about you, Mr. Wizard?
Oh, this is Liam. I think we've talked at least once.
Mr. Liam.
I do apologize, sir, for the annoyances that you've been put through in the caravan. Just know that you appreciate it. Keeping an eye on this fellow,
Indeed.
You don't
Aren't
have
you
to
done with that yet?
Oh, I've been done for like 3 minutes at this point.
She kind of puts down her drink and says, I think he is done, yes. And she kind of gives you the side eye like you'd better go with this guy. She says, thank you for the pleasant chat. It's nice to have somebody listen rather than speak.
I understand completely. If you have any more you want to share on the matter, I don't mind having a good story. It helps pass the time on the road.
I see. Go ahead and just give me a straight up charisma check.
I'll roll a charisma, which is 0. So this is just going to be a straight D20. It's a 13.
13? That's not too bad, just for a straight up roll. Okay. So she gives you a look over and says, well, if you'd be interested in doing any guard duty or such for a future expedition, let me know. I may have use of services if you are interested in gold and perhaps artifacts.
I'll have to keep that in mind. Thank you for the offer.
All right. She pats you on the side. Does not pat Liam on the side, just gives him a smile.
Don't touch him.
And
No touching.
goes back.
I will very stiffly but politely do the, top of the shoulder bow.
Yes. Well, she gives you a polite bow back as a sign of respect.
If I were
your perception check.
What? Who's doing perception?
You are.
Me. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to say really quick, if I was a more typical dwarf, I would just be like, slap right on the back of his leg, basically. Like, all right, let's head back into the top of the ladder. But I am not.
So. Well, you only have 2 chances to do that.
22.
22?
I rolled a 19.
Dang.
All right.
You see
Hold on
Adams.
1 second.
5 miles away, you see a Thay contingent where the leader is actually betraying his men as he speaks in order to get some money from, I forget the name of the other country.
I've found the secret password.
I'm ninja noting people.
Are you still looking stuff up, Third? Okay, just making sure I didn't miss something. I've been looking at monastic traditions because all of them suck.
What?
I want Way of the Death Doom, but it doesn't exist.
There's one that's like Death Touch. It's
there is the
straight
long
up Fist of the North Star.
Yeah.
I could pull up my Akashic Brotherhood World of Darkness.
There you go.
Okay,
Apparently, Way of the Dragon.
well done. Am I coming through?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes,
Good.
you are audible.
All right. So, would you like to head back into the tavern? Paston, it's taking a while.
It's like food's been here for a while, guys.
Yeah, you've got the apps in front of you. You're like,
I go back. I'm hungry. I'm like doing a light jog back, especially now that I'm all clean again.
Okay.
I head back in. I say, "Oh, sorry, excuse me. The water's coming through." Oh,
Yeah, you have to test it. In the meantime, that guy is sitting down there telling you a story. He's taking over one of the seats.
Oh my god! So I'm in first.
Yeah.
Liam's following me, so I take the third seat.
Okay. He's like, oh, hey, this guy. He's forgotten you. So I was just telling this guy here about the time I went up to
Okay, I
end of the
activate
world
my
and
monastic
slew 20
ability
orcs.
to completely blank him out. He is white noise.
Okay.
He's buzzing in the background.
Liam, he's in your seat.
Now, before we get to that, do I understand the implication of that? What you sent me?
Yes. Do you want me to send you more info on that?
No, it's fine. It's just So from the conversation that I heard between the two of them earlier and understanding the implication. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm going to lean down. Almost touching the gentleman on the shoulder and then stopping just short of actually touching him.
He's that guy who sees you do that and he leans in and actually just pushes his shoulder into you. He's like, what can I do for you, fine wizard orc?
You're in my seat.
So I am. Maybe okay.
Wait, you need what?
Intimidation.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming that's what you're going for.
I'm just trying to get him to move. I guess that would be somewhat intimidating. So
Yes.
it's a +3. That's a 6.
A 6.
You're
All right.
in my
I'll give
seat.
you this. No. It sounds that intimidating. He just doesn't care. Well, he gets up, but he seems like he's doing this like as a favor to you. He's like, I would gladly give my seat for our fine, what do they call orc wizards?
Was orcs. I immediately say in character.
Wizorks. All right, my fine wizork. You sit down here, and he pats you on the shoulder a couple times, and you drink with your. And he looks at you, and he's like, "Your peasant friends, I guess."
I'm mostly in my food at this point. I'm hungry. I'm eating the bag of carrots.
Like, hey, and he looks over and he sees a woman enter the tavern. He's like, hey, that reminds me of a time. And he heads off.
I turn to Tast and I say, are they all like that?
No, just him.
Okay, just curious. Yeah, I know Third's frozen again. We can hear him, so we're counting our blessings.
Uh-oh, I'm frozen again.
Yeah.
You've been frozen for a bit now.
Can you at least hear me?
Yes.
We can
Yes.
hear you.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave it like that then.
Yeah, if you start blitzing out again audio-wise, we'll say something.
No, he's moved from wagon to wagon the entire time. I'm not sure which part of the caravan he's with, but he's moved to every part of the caravan. He has one story.
God.
One story.
Oh,
Unendingly.
That reminds me of a time.
I was
Yes.
just about to say that.
That's
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
so sorry I've had to deal with that.
That reminds me of a time where he told the same story again
and
and
again.
again and again.
If you want for 3 gold, I can knock it.
There's already a line of people.
Doesn't surprise me. Here's to your health, and I go for a toast with taste and Tastin. Actually, get a drink here.
There you go.
So, what is it again that you're here for?
I assume the question's for Taston, so I go back to my food.
I'm going to reach across the table and slowly pull your plate away from you.
You don't. You can just ask. You have your own plate, sir.
He asked you a question.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was directed to you, Taston. I'm sorry.
No.
What were you asking me again?
What is it exactly that you're here for?
Oh, I'm heading to I can never remember the name of the place, in order to meet up with a few associates of mine. Try to get some good deals going. You know, the usual.
I look over to... what is your character's name?
Taston or Bard?
Taston. Yeah.
Taston. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I look over to Taston. Raise my eyebrows.
It's not quite that simple. So,
By the way, I'm basically readying myself for combat. I know it's probably not going to be relevant, but my muscles are tensing in case I have to literally attack Liam right here, which I don't want to do.
what's the level of? Jeez. Okay, with that in mind, now what's the level of volume? Like,
It's very loud.
okay, so I'm not gonna. I'm gonna lean in a little bit. Obviously, understanding his space issues. Lean in so I'm not yelling at him, but basically. He's from a unit that got attacked. He's been looking for Zentarum. Zentarum. That's going to take me a while. Sorry.
Yeah.
Got to break that habit. Okay. He's looking for Zentarum. And so that's why we walked through the caravan.
That's an interesting question. Does Liam know what the Zentarum are?
Anybody who's grown up in Faerun knows a little bit about the Zentarum.
But what does he know? He should roll.
Sure. It's straight up history, intelligence.
Like, it would be interesting. If you get like a 20, you have some serious history with these people.
You said history?
Yes.
Is that a 3 or an 11?
It's an 11.
It's 11.
Oh, yeah.
So that makes it a 16.
Oh.
You probably
Okay.
have personal history with that.
Hope not. As a noble, you probably would not have personal history.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Although they may have run some of the drug dens, who knows?
Oh, God.
That would be something they do. But yeah, the Zents are generally a nation. I mean, they're the Faerun mafia.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes. Most of the people you'll run into, you may have run into a few of these people before, who are lower class thugs. They're no better than someone who just joined a nationwide gang. Thieves, thugs, bandits, that kind of stuff.
Dictated one for a while.
There's a lot of rumors about them. That they do have a pretty long history when they used to actually have an actual quasi-standing army. They were led by a powerful wizard. You probably heard a little bit about this guy called Manshun. And it's basically restricted section. Don't learn any more about this guy.
You don't want to know about Manshun.
Just don't keep away from that guy. If you ever hear any mention of his name, he's dead. Don't worry about it. He's been dead for a long time.
Oh, he is dead as of 5th edition.
Yep.
Oh, thank God.
Did he have a bunch of rings on his fingers? Was he a candidate?
We don't talk about Manshun. That was what you were given. He must not be named. No, it wasn't that bad. But yeah, a long time ago, that was what they were. They were a serious force in Faerun. Nowadays, they're kind of a glorified gang, as far as as far as most people seem to think. Glorious history, glorious past, not so glorious present.
I'm sorry, I just have to jump in here really quick. Apparently, no less than 5 city-states in the Moonsea area are actually either manipulated by or directly serving the Zentarum.
When was that dated?
This would have been 1370, so it's a while ago.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No, the 15th century thing is apparently they actually are legitimate businessmen now by selling all the best guards and mercenaries and having a monopoly on protection services in the realm.
Yeah. Protection.
There's no legitimate business you've ever heard of that's like, we're the Zentarum. It doesn't happen, really. Sure, you've heard about them being hired to do stuff, but That's what you know about them. They're generally bad business.
That's right. Back to the table here.
So, still looking at Taston, your friend's not very observant.
What have you seen?
I look back at Mark. You didn't notice her earrings, did you?
I say, what earrings? And I flip the table. Sorry.
Well, now the food's on the floor. That's not cool.
No, hang on.
The entire party stops. They take you out. They beat you up.
No.
Wow.
I point and laugh.
They do not take kindly.
I did no, sir. I didn't notice their earrings at all. Apparently, in fact, I don't even remember rolling perception on that. Actually, now I'm thinking about it.
At the very start.
What did I roll? Like a 6?
Not very good.
Not very good.
God, my rise. No, apparently I got a lot of mud on my robes, which is very strange. I was very distracted by it.
Falling dragon.
I actually stopped moving, basically, because I've been, and then you say that I just.
Aye.
Slowly put the biscuit back down into the gravy. I very unsubtly look around the room because I have stealth. I have a decent stealth. I'm gonna roll stealth. Hang on, where's my stealth?
All right. What are you trying to accomplish?
I'm trying to see if she's in invisible range. I got an 11 on stealth.
Yeah.
And my perception is a 19.
There you go. So, I mean, you kind of just lean back, right? Just kind of take a sip of your beer. You look around. She is here. She is near the bard, playing on the elevated stage over there. The tiefling bard seems to be having a good time. She's listening to another boring story by that.
Since it's been pointed out, do I notice the earrings now?
It's kind of hard to make out from this distance, but you look directly at them, and these are tiny little things.
Yeah.
They weren't being called attention, but you're like, oh, that it's stylized, but that looks a whole lot like the Zent symbol for sure.
Okay. So I lean forward and say, so obviously we got to kill her.
That escalated quickly.
No, I'm kidding. What we need to do is figure out what she's doing and why. Now, Taston, she was talking about excursions into the Underdark.
Okay.
Now, she was talking about archaeological digs, but I'm not sure how much of that particular way, I believe. But she did specifically mention a Duargar ruins named blah, 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 that the player doesn't remember. But I did roll well enough in my history to know that it was, in fact, yeah, that place. I've already forgotten it because I'm terrible. Look, there's a reason I have your names on the screen. I can just look over and see Taston. It's right there. I'm awful with names. So, that is a Duargar ruin. I recognize the name. And that's not up. That's not topside. That's below. I don't even know if there's any entrances to the Underdark around here.
I've never been.
I would recommend not going.
I've heard enough tales to not want to really go down that road.
Yeah, it's not a pleasant place.
I also don't know a whole much about Dugar, but
real quick, I mentioned how I try to use the official pronunciations. Did you know that in the Neverwinter Nights game, which is about as official as we get for that, they pronounce Duargar like 3 different ways?
Do they? God, of course.
Yeah. It's like, make up your mind. Anyways, sorry.
Well, because I'm trying not to say Draugr, which is not right.
They've also said Draugr. I've heard them say that.
Okay.
And Duergar. Yep,
yeah,
I've heard Duergar.
I've heard that one.
Anyway, sorry. Just wanted to
No, it's like, I'm like, okay, we're gonna run at this word, and yeah, okay, fine.
There we go.
Just fall over. So I don't know much about them other than obviously they're not your brethren.
Aye. No, I think going forward, keeping an eye on her and any she associates with might not be a terrible idea. I wonder if Mr. Blowhard is actually her cover.
It's difficult to say. He does draw a lot of attention, but at the same time, he doesn't strike me as the intellectual type.
This is true. By now I finished my meal because I was just starving.
A man comes by and says, "He's a pretty big cover, if you know what I mean," and he leaves.
That's your...
Okay.
This place is so strange. I'm going to my room. I have a room, right?
Do you?
Well, he said my room was paid for.
So, there's a couple bedding areas. The first part of them is attached to this place. You're not going to get any sleep tonight there.
Got it. I'm going back outside.
Outside of the circle. It's still going to be a little noisy, but at least it's inside and away from this place.
I'm going to go outside.
Okay.
Go back to the wagon and settle myself up there. But before I do that, I want to do just you don't even have to make me roll for this. It doesn't matter. But I'm just going to go ahead and do like a once through around the area. Basically just a typical basic scouting. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Liam, do you want to follow him?
Yes.
It's a 20 on my
I'll-
thing.
I'll go as well then.
Okay. So you three do a once over around the area, essentially. You see people are still partying, for lack of a better word, but it's starting to settle down a little bit. On the outside, at least, people are starting to turn in. There's a couple of merchants out there who are like, "You want to buy my oversale?" No? Okay. Well, I'm going to bed. And yeah, it's settling down a bit. You don't see a whole lot of guards around the area, with the exception of a few at the gate and the ones at the wagons, which are probably hired on guards. There's a couple of places for horses and other livestock and traveling animals to rest and refill. There is what seems to be a All-Faith shrine of some sort, which is essentially a place that travelers have put up to pray to whatever deity you venerate there. These things are fairly common in large gathering areas. So it would be someplace you could, do some prayers to Kelimvor, and it would be a proper place to do so. If you would.
But it's like a payphone to God rather than actually a good setup.
Yeah, but like if you would like, you can take some time to set up a proper Kelimvor. It's not unheard of to do something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and hang on. I'm gonna go to the All Faith. I'm gonna kneel and say, "Oh, I beseech you, Lord Runner, Lord of all the lore of the great forgotten realms, please give me the strength to kill this woman."
There are so many jokes I could make about this right now.
I don't actually do that. I basically haven't decided if my guy even has a deity, so I don't do any of that.
Actually, just curious, Liam, do you follow any deity? As someone said, in a world where gods demonstrably exist.
Yeah, that is they literally have walked among us within the last 2 centuries.
I would, but I don't know who.
You can think about it.
Yeah, it's debatable later.
There's several other people there, mainly merchants praying to people like Joaquin, that kind of stuff.
Wait,
a lot of merchant.
I need a GM ruling.
Okay.
Does the wall exist in this campaign?
You don't know.
No. This is the player asking.
The wall. I didn't really like the wall as a concept a whole lot, so I'll say no.
Okay. The wall does not exist. I will still look into the deities for whatever. But
yeah, don't get me wrong. The deity situation is still really screwed up. But if you don't believe in a god, you don't just go to the wall.
Oh, God, the wall is just... Anyways, moving on.
So there's a couple of other people there. Probably not as many as you might think compared to how many people are here. But, there's 3 or 4 other ones aside from you there. They leave offerings of like money, some goods, that kind of stuff there. Of course, taking anything from a shrine is very frowned upon. You'll probably get the wrath of a god on your side as well. So
just instant lightning.
People generally don't do that because there's real consequences to that.
Yeah.
I do not.
When a curse, take the gold.
Yeah. Go ahead.
This is Skyrim. So there's a couple of overpriced convenient shops, for lack of a better term, here, that if you need any gear along the way, you see that those are still open, but there's not a lot of people here. People seem to be pretty well equipped. And a couple other miscellaneous tents and whatnot around for people who don't want to put up in here. The inn here, the place to sleep, is actually rather large. You can't hold everyone here, but you look around and you see that a lot of, especially the more wealthier people, actually have covered wagons that are comfortable. They probably have some bedding in them, things like that. They're used to sleeping on the road in style. So if you did want to get a room, you could do that.
I'm getting a room.
Okay.
And I'm not.
There is no way I'm sleeping on the ground again.
And this would actually be a good time to talk about long versus short rest versus where you're resting. So the basic thing is this. A long rest is 8 hours where you get good rest. This means if you're sleeping on the ground, that's not a long rest. That counts basically as a short rest. Short rest is an hour. It doesn't necessarily have to be sleeping. It's taking a breather or whatever. Long rest recovers all your hit points, plus some hit dice, which I'll explain when we actually need to get to that, because it's not right now. And pretty much every single ability you have. That's a reset. A short rest allows you to spend hit dice, which is you just use to heal. It's kind of like healing surges in 4E, except you do it when you're resting. And some classes get things back on a short rest. Like, for example, a cleric will get their channel divinities back on a short rest. A wizard will be able to refresh about half of their spells on a short rest. A monk will get their key points back on a short rest. Things
I
like
don't even have key yet.
that. I don't know if you do or not.
I don't. I got it at level 2.
Okay. But yeah, that's the difference. But the big important takeaway thing here is if you don't find a good place to long rest, it's not going to count as one of those. It will refresh you as far as sleep goes, but you're not full healing if you're sleeping out in the rain, in the mud, things like that. Now, this doesn't exactly count for that, since this is a pretty secluded area. It's pretty peaceful, and there's actually things to sleep on if you go out to a wagon. But just letting you know. And that's how resting works in 5e.
So for me, after we've done our circuit around to look at everything, I'm going to go ahead and pray for about an hour, and then I'll go ahead and take a room.
Okay. Roll a D100.
Yeah.
That's right. If you played a deity, you can actually do stuff.
80.
80. Okay. So do you construct a shrine, or do you pray to all faiths, or just go freestyle?
I would pray at the All Shrine, but I have my focus with me.
So you're there, offering your prayers to Kellenvor, as you've done so many times. You know the proper rituals and that sort of stuff. You feel just like a certain calling to kind of go the full distance, to do the full hit remedies, that kind of stuff. And you basically, after a minute or so, you find yourself to be the only person in here. The people who have made their offerings to their merchant god, they've tossed their gold in, they're done, they're gone.
Joaquin, I think.
Yeah, it's Joaquin. Or they may call him something different. It's the gold god.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And you feel a hand on your shoulder, like someone shaking you.
Mm-hmm. I kind of resisted it at first because I'm in the process of I'm praying.
It's like someone's shaking you just on your shoulder.
Okay. I look up.
All right, no one's there. It stops.
I look around.
There's some people 15, 20 feet away, but they're outside the shrine.
Okay. How long into the prayer does that kick in? Did that happen?
About halfway through.
About halfway through. Okay. No, I'll. So was it on both shoulders or just one shoulder?
Just one shoulder.
Okay. So I'll look off in the direction of like which shoulder that would be, if I see anything out of the ordinary.
Make a perception check.
Oops, if I know what my perception is. There we go.
You hear the car.
I was about to say.
Apparently somebody's getting away.
Trucking it.
22.
22. Wow. Okay.
Not natural.
Yeah. You look over there and you see a couple people you've like seen on the wagon right here, a couple people you've seen before, but you don't see anyone like nearby you, which like strikes you as weird because there would be no way someone could have gotten away that early. You get a sudden realization. You look down at the ground, it's like, wait a minute, this is weird, but is there someone invisible or something walking around here? You don't see any sign that there are like footprints or anything disturbed around you.
Okay. Is this shrine like near a tree or anything, or is it just like it's kind of out in the open?
It's a little ramshackle, if we were to be honest, but
Okay.
it's not near a tree or anything.
Okay.
And with that perception, man, you look up and there's like, unless somebody made like a 30-foot leap up onto the roof,
Yeah.
immediately after you turned around,
Yeah.
there's no way.
Okay.
You don't see any signs of anything at all.
All right. I chalk it up as odd,
Mhm.
and then go back to praying.
Yeah. Meanwhile, outside, Liam, he's doing it again. He's going out to the wagon to sleep. Do you want to follow him?
No.
Okay.
No. I told him about the room. I'm as much as the wagon master had entrusted me. I'm done with my babysitting duties for the night. If something happens, it's not on me.
Okay.
So nope, I'm going to rent a room and sleep in the room for the night.
Okay. Tastin, you're getting a room as well, I assume?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right. And Mark, you're going to meditate / sleep, I'm assuming, out the wagon?
Yeah, I do want to not be on the ground. I do want to be on a wagon, but otherwise,
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. No one really stops you. Like, there's a couple of guards out there, but like, whatever. He's probably supposed to be here. The alert level is very low.
yeah, he's a level 1. He doesn't matter.
Yeah, we're level 2. We can take him.
Yeah.
We got spears.
What's he got? Nothing.
Mm-hmm. So, Liam and Tastin, you find the rooms somewhat accommodating. You pay like a silver each for them, which isn't even as much as you got from the wagon master, so it's not really a problem. They're a little small, but such as it is, they're just trying to crowd people in there. At least there is a semi-decent bed. At least there's a candle in there, and the doors are relatively thick, so it drowns out some of the noise coming from outside. Mark, you actually have a relatively peaceful place, way out here in the wagon. A nice place to meditate with only the occasional sounds of, some night creatures moving about in, the surrounding area. A guard occasionally hawks a loogie somewhere. It's that kind of stuff.
Classy.
Yeah, classy. So you bed down and you go to sleep.
And then we
Mark,
die.
I'm assuming you meditate a little bit before you go to sleep.
That's the idea, yeah.
Okay.
I don't actually, I don't need to meditate like both of these guys have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just doing it because it's literally part of my routine. And also I'm kind of literally meditating on a thought, which I'll mention to you off camera because I don't need to waste time on it now.
Right. So Mark, go ahead and roll a D100.
Okay, hang on.
I got 2 D10s next to the tower.
Where up? There they are. Thank you.
There it is.
Orange will be the big digit. So that is 94.
All right.
So that's either really good or really bad. One of the two.
So Mark, you're meditating and you don't even hear them come up. But somebody feels somebody placed. Yeah, you die immediately. I am evil, Mark. No.
Oh God, I knew it.
No, someone places their hand on your shoulder and you hear, "Wake up, please wake up."
So I'm not actually asleep yet, so my eyes just flip open.
You flip open, no one there.
Look around for a second.
There's a guard over there, picking his nose. He's about 20 feet away.
I watch very closely. I want all the details. Hang on, let me roll
You stare at
perception.
him, he looks at you and he's like, "You like this?"
I start rubbing my
That's creepy.
No, I mean, like, it's
the hell. So I'm literally going to say out loud, "Huh," and then I'm going to go back to my meditation, and then my thought I was having is now more so.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to try and center my emotions because I'm just right now.
Liam, roll a D100.
Roll like a 2. Because that would just be great.
All right, so I'm going to go with purple is the high digit.
Okay.
Ooh, dramatic pause.
23.
Okay. Liam, I don't know what Liam dreams about, but I'm sure it's full of himself, at the height of arcane prowess.
Wait, he's having that gold hot chocolate.
What would Liam do if he was the most powerful archwizard in Finland?
That is a good question.
He's He dreams of large women.
I mean, at this moment, I'm just picturing Conan sitting on a throne.
Like, it just slowly zooms out and he's just sitting there. Yeah.
Have you played or watched God of War 2, Guido?
I've seen some of it, but
right at the literal title screen is actually part of the game. So it starts and it's just him glittering. But as the camera zooms out, he's doing the Conan thing, and on like piles of treasure, surrounded by like 15 different women, and he's just
yeah. That's yep, perfect.
Yes, that's great. So you're seeing there. You're probably. I'm sorry. I'm just thinking of the Looney Tunes thing with Daffy Duck right now. You're just sitting there. You're just flexing, and there's just massive arcane power there. You're looking around your various wealth and all the things you have acquired, and you look over at your left. And you see someone that looks out of place. You see
I should change soundtracks.
Eldith, the Emerald Enclave Dwarven scout that you saw before. And she's just standing at your side, kind of looking at you, and she says to you, "We didn't make it." And you wake up. Things are deadly silent.
Okay.
It is just quiet. It's dark. You're in your inn room. You don't hear a peep. It just seems too quiet.
I'm going to get dressed
Okay. You get dressed.
and head downstairs.
He's a wizard. He's used to this.
You open up the door. All the lights are out.
Is it dark or is it just all the lights are out?
Dark. You're depending on your dark vision right now,
Okay.
which seems strange. Like, it should be a little bit lighter, especially with this being an inn. There should be candles running. There should be some moonlight. You head down to the common room, I'm assuming, to figure out what's going on. Would you like to do something else?
I am going to cast Prestidigitation and cause the head of my staff to light up like a torch.
Okay. You do that, and the staff lights up just as for a split second. You hear what sounds like a brief instant of a spell flashing, what sounds like combat, people yelling, and then it fades as soon as the staff lights. And something seems strangely familiar about it.
I'm going to go back up and knock on Taston's door.
Paston, you wake up. Someone's knocking at the door. It seems incredibly silent, with the exception of the knock, which just seems to ring forever.
I hate to metagame, but would Liam be familiar with a cone of silence or a sphere of darkness or any of those spells?
This is not that. It's not that.
Okay, I just thought I'd ask.
Yeah, if there's something that your character would be familiar with, I'm not going to play the game of.
Okay.
Oh, you got to ask me about it first.
There.
If it's something your character would be familiar with, I'll let you know.
Okay, so
That's good to know.
I get out of the bed and grab my sword, walk up to the door. Yes.
This is the cleric's room, yes?
Yes, I open the door a little bit. What is it, Liam?
Join me on the landing, if you would.
All right. I kind of peek out around and
I'm
try and see why it's so dark.
Candles are out. There seems to be a lack of moonlight.
There's a candle outage in this neighborhood? Who knew?
The candle surge. Who would have thought?
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna go get my gear.
Okay, you grab your gear.
All right. Get dressed and head on out.
All right, you head on out. There, you don't see a soul. But when you look down here, like in the common room, it looks like there was like a war zone. There's tables turned over. There's glasses and bottles smashed. You see some crossbow bolts sticking in the walls. But you don't see anyone in here.
Okay.
Meanwhile, back out at the wagon.
I'm just no. I'm this while I was
What does Mark dream about?
well. Hang on. Is this while I was meditating, or is this after I actually fell
This
asleep?
is after you fell asleep.
Okay, just making sure. I know exactly what I'm dreaming about.
Okay.
I am dreaming about nice musical cue. I've got really creepy music playing right now. I am dreaming about my master, who's I never named, the one who I was his squire.
Scientife. No.
Siphidius, yes. I'm dreaming of Siphidius. And I see the demon that killed him, and I'm going to say this is going to sound stupid, but I punch him. But the point is, my hand actually goes into him, and I draw the power of the demon into these tattoos that cycle down my arm and start glowing a wonderfully black red. And the demon's gone, having
Yes.
absorbed it. And I'm like, and
Angry
my master
red.
is fine now. He's like, thank you so much. I'm like, of course, master. Now I need to make sure I get the rest of them. And then I just start using this newly found demonic power in order to imbue myself and enhance my already superior physical abilities to an even more inhuman level. And I'm in the middle of this stream. You can interrupt basically at any time.
Yeah. So that's fine. So you're sitting there with your power, and this feels good. This feels right. And you
Yes.
look on, and your master is approving of this.
Yes.
And he looks at you and he says, "Very, very good. You are well prepared for what is to come. But you had better hurry, for you should know they're eating us."
That
And you wake up.
I
And you are
did.
again a punching position like you were just fighting that demon.
yeah. I'm ready to go. Like,
Mhm. Everything is deathly quiet. The moon is barely visible. You see all around you. The wagons are turned on their side. Somehow you managed to avoid tumbling over with your wagon. It's on his side. It looks like it's been chopped in half. The place where you were sitting has several crossbow bolts stuck in it. And you see on the ground the guard that was sitting there picking his nose before, dead. But he seems to be almost like something's not quite right about it. Like it's hard to capture his face almost.
Well, I have recently seen people killed by demons.
Yeah, that's not what this was.
Okay, that's what I figured, but I wanted to state that out loud. All right, so
you look up to the stop. Quiet, silent, dark. Although, Paston, you are a human, so you would be correct. And there is a light on your staff. That's right. You do see a light moving round in the inn.
I also have dark vision, by the way, as a fresh reminder.
Yes. So you can see.
So I jump up and I pause, and then I hesitate for just a second. Like, do I want to? And I decide to go ahead and stealth.
Okay, roll it.
But I am like beelining for, like I'm going to go ahead and roll stealth, but I am going as fast as I can.
All right, roll at disadvantage then.
You got it. So that's going to be a 16.
Okay, that's pretty good. So you creep as fast as you can, just making your way without much hesitation from debris to debris, from broken wagon to broken wagon. When you get to the gates of the palace, you see that they're like wide open, and one of them is just off its hinges on the ground. What's strange though is as you're making your way, you saw the dead guard. If there was an actual fight here, you would expect it to be so many more people, but that's the only body or person you've seen. Liam and Teston, you hear well, you don't hear actually because he's stealthing. Never mind, you're making your way around the common room. This looks so weird, and you're looking around at this place, and you like look at a corner and you're like, well, this looks like somebody like maybe put a sword through there, and you look around again and you swear you just like forgot what was at that corner, and you look around again and you're like, was it a sword or was it a crossbow bolts? It kind of looks like crossbow bolts actually. It's just like your mind's just foggy. What would you like to do?
I'm going to cast light on my shield.
Oh.
So I can have. So Liam's not the only person with a light source.
You cast light on your shield, and it glows with light. And for a split second, and you hear what sounds like something impacting your shield, but it seemed to be almost fleeting, like it was off in the distance, like you were just remembering it.
Can I hear it as well?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm assuming I now see two light sources once I step inside.
Yeah, you're getting close to there and you see another light source light up, and I'm assuming you look in the window to see.
Yeah. I assume I can see who they are despite this magical darkness or whatever.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to hesitate for like a second, and then I'm going to go ahead and say, Taston.
Yes, Mark?
Yes. I'm over here, and I'm going to like do that so you can kind of get a direction.
I'll move towards him.
What in the bloody blazes is going on?
I don't know. Liam woke me up, and looks like there was a battle here. I can't believe I slept through it. But where is everybody?
Liam, you're a mage, right? Wizard?
Aye.
You're an arcane expert. What do you think we should do?
You may make an arcane check if you would like.
Oh, yes.
To try and puzzle this out in the arcane style.
Ouch. That's an 8.
Oh.
I will
Yeah.
remind you that Platy's rule is still in effect.
I am going to invoke the Platy.
Platy, we need some help
All
here.
right.
If you're there, I assume you are. Chat's been really quiet, which makes sense.
Perfect.
Quiet when we're doing this.
I'm gonna regret it, but I don't care.
Yeah, this is our end right here. We're gonna TPK.
Yep.
Session
Right here.
0.
TPK in the first session. Perfect.
I know a couple of GMs personally who seek that out.
I mean, if everyone's on board with it, I guess, but I don't.
Yeah.
I've never met anyone who's on board with it.
I haven't either.
I am
GM.
invoking the Platy Waddle.
Yes, Platy. Let's do it. She's like, well, hang on, I wasn't ready for this. I didn't ask for this. While she's doing that, I'm going to do something real quick.
Okay.
Forgive me. Just
No.
curious. I'm looking for some
Whoa.
features for us. I just grabbed a bunch of random ones. What do we got? This looks like animals, doesn't it? Yeah, I don't think. Does anyone want to be a giant fish?
I've always wanted to be a giant fish.
Okay, so that's a no. What's this one?
Only if I can ride a bicycle.
Ooh.
This is taking a moment to load. Good Lord. There we go. This actually isn't a bad set.
So third, how are you running the Platy Waddle?
Yeah, Platy, if you want to roll, go ahead. Or I forget the exact wording of it. 3 rerolls. Oh, yeah, sure, Platy, you can roll.
Damn. Like they've got orcs here, but the orcs are in like armored orcs, of course.
I've got tokens for.
Yeah, but Warcraft is so much better.
All right, I have the picture of my guy. I just don't know how to make a token.
Yeah.
I haven't looked yet for mine.
A 16 on the D20. Ooh.
So okay, with my arcane, that makes that a 21.
All right. So you're sitting here puzzling about this, trying to think to your arcane,
Ooh.
to your
Sorry.
experience, trying to see, does this match up to anything that I've ever encountered, or can I find signs of any arcane meddling around here? You've already ruled out the silence and all that sort of stuff. That's some basic stuff. You knew immediately that wasn't what this was. But although you can't cast it yet, this does seem to be very, very indicative of what could happen had you experienced it before, of a dreamlike spell where someone is put to sleep and their dreams are shaped by an outside force. Although with that roll, I will tell you that you don't think it's like that spell, but you think the effect is very similar. You do think that you are being meddled with in some way. The thing that you are probably wondering about right now is that, are those other people in here actually real, or are those bits of my dream, of the spell?
Including us, I would imagine.
If he shares that, yes.
What's
Yeah.
the term for active dreaming?
Lucid dreaming.
Lucid, yep.
Yes.
Long story short, you do think this is some sort of magic effect, but a warped one, if that.
So what I'll say is, I believe it's some kind of lucid dreaming, but I don't think we're the dreamers. It's not
So-
us that are in control.
Participating in someone else's dream.
Something like that.
Okay, well, how do we find the source?
Liam, as you say that, I'd like you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh gosh.
He's on fire!
He bursts into flame. He dies.
Wow!
Somebody
What have we
roll
got?
me a d20.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
Oh, we don't have the dice.
Sorry. I've been looking at models. Hang on.
Perfect. You can't fail a roll if you can't roll at all.
True.
Ah.
True. Hang on.
That's
It's
fair.
all part of my clever plan.
Components, dice, D20. There you go. D20.
There you go. Oh, a metal d20.
That's the first one I saw. $13. I'm saying that's a 13.
Yeah,
Constitution, so that's going to be 16.
16. All right. So, you feel sick, like, oh, something you ate didn't agree with you. And then you start feeling like weak, like your strength is suddenly being sapped. And then it goes dark.
Okay.
The two other ones, we'll get back to you in a second. Taston and Mark.
Mhm.
Liam just kind of sits there for a second, and then you see him just slowly fade away into a misty form and then disappear.
Well, there you go.
I run over to where he was standing.
He's
Okay.
super
You
dead.
hear, Liam, you hear like you're
Liam.
still dark, and you still like just ache. It's like, you ran 1,000 miles and you're trying to fight it off, and it feels like someone's like touching you on the shoulder or shaking you. We'll come back to you in a second. Taston and Mark.
I'm trusting the now remaining magical expert of the group to give me
Yes,
something
he
on this.
basically said, I think it's this, and then he just like stuck there in that pose and then just kind of like faded away.
Actually, you know what? I'm a monk.
Yes.
I'm going to basically try to find my inner self.
Okay.
Effectively do a wisdom save.
Okay.
And it's okay. There's dice on this one. Hang on.
So
It's a
I
D100.
guess what you do is you basically you think for a second, then you just get into a meditative pose and just try and compose yourself.
Yeah.
Fantastic. You see this happening.
I'm telling him, Taston, I'm going to try to center my mind, see if that helps. If this really is some kind of dream, whatever, I mean, it might help. It might not. Ooh, this is not one of my saving throws. That is a 13.
All right. So you sit down, and you hadn't really noticed it like up until now, but your mind is just cloudy, but you're equipped to deal with this fogginess. So you sit down and you start meditating. Test. You see him trying to find himself. You're a cleric. You've seen meditation before, so you recognize this. And you do feel like you are starting to organize your thoughts a bit to try and remember something. You can almost see in your mind the common room clear with people in it this time, but they're afraid. And they are screaming and they are trying to fight something. There are cloaked figures with dark skin, pointy ears, and crossbows pouring into the common room, shooting people with crossbows, fighting off those who can fight. Go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw at advantage.
Ooh. That's him, right? Not me.
That's you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was him the whole time.
No, I thought this was you centering, and this is what
this
you're
is
seeing.
centering yourself.
Junk. So that's going to be.
You
Hang
have
on.
advantage.
Hang on. I just want to figure out. Yep. Okay, that's what I thought. So that's either a 14 or a 14.
Yep, 14. So you're remembering to remember. And Tristan, it's almost like him centering yourself is centering this entire thing as well. So you start to hear and see a little bit of that as well, to see like faint, wispy outlines of this battle in the common room against these figures that took place. And as you're sitting here watching this, Mark fades away, same as Liam, leaving you there, and the sounds and the sights fade back into what they were. You're here in almost dead silence.
Sorry, Taston. Didn't mean to leave you in there.
Okay, well, I'm gonna immediately grab my amulet and start praying.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah.
There you go. Roll D100.
Uh, 19.
19. All right. I'll tell you something afterwards. So you clutch at, what you know of Kellamvor. I know he hasn't guided you too terribly long before, although I guess maybe history would indicate otherwise. Depends on your point of view. And just focusing yourself on that does seem to do you good. You start to hear the sounds from before, and go ahead and make me a Constitution saving throw. Okay. Meanwhile, Mark, you are in a dark place and you just ache. It's like you've trained for 1,000,000 hours.
Oh God.
And
It's funny because I'm sore in
you
real life.
realize you can't even open your eyes. You're just so tired right now. And you kind of feel like someone's, and you felt this before, like someone's got something on your head, but it feels like slimy. What did you get?
10.
10. It's good enough. Don't worry. 5th edition save DCs at first level are not that high. So
on fire.
This time we see it from the perspective of the person who is getting out of this. You see the common room fading away, and as it fades away, it at the same time becomes more clear. You see the scene that played out. You look to your left and you see Liam again. You look to your right and you see that gentleman who had been telling all those stories pull out a long sword and start fighting these drow that have burst through the front room, that have come from down the stairs somehow and are shooting people. And as you see they are shot, they take a bloody wound, but you also see some odd clear liquid seeping out from the wound, and they become faint and they fall over almost immediately as soon as they are shot by these crossbow bolts. You look over and you see that Liam is bravely fighting them off. You see him make the exact same motion he did before when he cast the light on his staff as he is fighting off a drow, but there's just simply too many. And before too long, you look down and you see embedded in your chest one of those crossbow bolts, and
you die.
You die. Game over. Good campaign, everybody. Let's all.
Yay!
And your consciousness fades somewhat. You ache as well. Your muscles are just sore, and you feel somebody like shaking you. That same familiar feeling you felt at the shrine when someone was grabbing your shoulder and shaking you. And all three of you come to, just barely able to open your eyes, like you haven't used them in a week or more.
No one can be told what the Matrix is.
Oh God, no!
I wasn't trying to go there, but yes, it's the same.
Oh jeez.
And you come up into almost pure darkness. Those of you with dark vision can see a little more around what seems to be a cave, and there is some bioluminescent fungi emitting a purple light, showing off the dark gray rock around here. There is a figure that is familiar to some of you, just kind of kneeling over Taston right now. It is a very, very beat up, haggard female dwarf named Eldith, who looks like she has been through the ringer. You can see on her side she has a crossbow bolt wound on her side that is probably just now almost fully healing up. She has no arm, she has no weapons, and she is trying to shake Taston awake, and it seems like she is succeeding. She's saying, "Wake up, wake up!" And all three of you are coming to. With the exception of the black metal bars on the front of this cave, you don't see much else. And Tassin, as you wake up, Ilda says, "Oh, thank Moradin. We're the only ones left. They ate everyone else. Are you all right? Can you hear me?" And all three of you can hear this at this point in time.
Okay, where are we?
She looks like she doesn't want to tell you. She thinks for like a few seconds, and she says, I won't wish this fate upon anyone. We're locked up here. And as she holds up her hands, and you notice just for the first time, she has black iron manacles around her. And then she holds up her feet, and she has the same thing around her as well. And as she holds them up, you hear this clinking, and you realize that she is attached to all three of you as well with chains and manacles.
So we all have the same manacles?
Yes.
Okay.
And she says,
Biatch.
I won't wish this upon anyone, but we've been captured by the Drow. We're in the Underdark. I don't know where. I've been trying to wake you up for days. This is a cruel place. I don't think we'll ever see the light of the sun again. She looks like she is just about done. Just as if saying the words almost made her give up.
I'm just gonna. How out of it am I?
You ache, but you're actually thinking more clearly than you were 10 minutes ago.
Okay. How about physically? Because I've just been
physically you're sore. Mechanically, you have a level of exhaustion.
Okay.
Which means that you basically have a disadvantage on like ability checks. It will go away after a long rest.
I would like to go ahead and try a strength check for obvious reasons.
Okay.
We'll
It's a
just,
strength check at disadvantage.
We'll just do this. That's gonna be a hang on. 10.
10. So you kind of like lean yourself up and you try to burst these bonds. You can tell they don't even give.
Yeah, I didn't
all.
think they would.
Elda says, believe me, I've already tried it. And count yourself fortunate you didn't break them. I've seen others break them. They were fed to the spiders.
Are they magical?
I don't know. This place is filled with all sorts of insane magic. You can make an Arcana check if you'd like.
I will in just a moment. You said that there is like a gated or some kind of barred entrance.
Yes.
Can I make my way over to it, or am I, or the like manacle chains?
Guess we're all going.
Yeah, you're gonna take.
We could all go. Let's see.
Okay.
You have about 10 feet at most of movement room before you start dragging somebody with you, and they're a little further than that.
Okay. I would like to inspect the gate if possible. So, you guys, if you wouldn't mind,
I will acquiesce.
I'll get up and go.
So you.
Hang on. So we're over here. Here's us. Where are we going? We're in the cave. This is the best I got. What do you want from me?
That's fine. I'm about to share a picture with you.
Okay.
You start, dragging / walking your way to the cave, and it hurts to walk. Like you haven't walked in a while, apparently.
Am I at disadvantage on this as well?
All ability checks.
Okay.
Ah.
So you can do this.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
You start making your way to just move. You don't have to roll anything. You start
for the Arcana check that you mentioned.
Oh yeah, it is. It is, yeah.
So 13.
13. As best as you can tell, these chains and manacles don't have any obvious magical signs on them.
Yeah.
However, you feel weird, like you don't feel a connection to magic at all right now. or it's warped or something like that. Doesn't feel right.
Okay.
Um,
I want to try casting Prestidigitation.
all right. You make the motions, nothing happens.
Okay.
You do notice at this time that you do not have your component pouch or focus with you.
I don't need it for the Prestidigitation.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know that
Yep.
it seems like you've been stripped of anything which might... you know what? Fortunately, Mark, you've not been stripped of anything. Congratulations.
Yes! I have all my gear.
Somehow you've picked a monk in a campaign where you start in a prison. Good job.
I
Well
even have an
played.
advantage on stoneworking, by the way.
Yeah.
So,
You see, as you get to the gates, all of you see this. And Elizabeth kind of like comes up behind you and says, it's bad. Outside, there is more light and more bioluminescent fungi lighting up what seems to be the top of a massive cavern. And you see, looking outside, this scene. Drow standing guard, one of them with a tentacle-like whip cat of nine tails torture instrument, standing there on a bridge going out to a hollowed out stalactite or stalagmite. I can never remember which.
tight is up, gite is bottom.
Got it right the first time. There is the soft sounds of a waterfall as you look over there. This image is actually reversed for some reason when I put it down. As you look to your left, technically, and see a waterfall coming from the ceiling. You see what seems to be some sort of albino bear-like creature walking around on the upper end of 7 to 8 feet tall. It seems to be carrying some barrels with it. And you hear what sounds like screams of torture suddenly coming from the middle stalactite. And this drow right here, the one with the cat of nine tails that is moving ever so slightly as she stands there, just turns her head to the side as you come up and look through this gate like she was expecting you, and says, "Oh, they're finally awake. I suppose the Quaggoths won't have any more food for now, but it's good to have strong slaves." And then she kind of like puts her arms, crosses them, and says, "I have very few words for you. Learn them and obey them, and you will live. I am Mistress Ilvara of House Mizrim. You will address me by my full title, or you will die. You will obey our every command, or you will die. You will accept your fate. You will learn to obey. And if you do so, you may survive." And since it's midnight, let's
Yeah,
end.
that's probably a good cutoff.
I just have one question. So you said her full title. Is that the
Yeah, I should
Mistress
write that
blah 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 of House blah blah blah? That's what we have to do, that whole title, or just Mistress blah?
Are you asking her this?
Well, I
Oh,
would be more
wow.
diplomatic.
Dang.
The title she used, Mistress Ilvara of House Mizrim. She said what she said. So,
Okay, so I'm gonna need to write that down.
Pro tip,
well,
don't call her
I
blah,
wrote it
blah,
down,
blah.
too.
okay.
Miss blah, blah, blah.
All of the characters get out a piece of paper and start writing furiously.
Wait. Can I do a save state real quick?
Okay.
Oh, of course, Mistress Leblecliptish of House Eclem. Oh, what was it again? I can't even remember. What was your name again, Lassie?
Slowly backing away.
You die.
Yeah.
The-
Mistress Silver of House Misery. That's all.
Yep, that sounds about yeah. Go with that.
Yep.
Actually, I quite like that. No.
I have a question, an out of character question.
Yeah, sure.
How many times have you run this and the players have died right here? Because they were like, "Screw you," and then that's the end of that.
That's
No, I've run this. This is the third time I've run this.
I thought you were running more than that.
No, I mean, third time I've read it fully through. Basically, actually, I've actually run the intro 2 more times. Weird circumstance, don't ask.
And how many times have they died?
I've only had 1 player die.
Oh wow, that's actually surprising.
And that was because he basically went up to the gates and started taunting them and insulting them, and they just shot him.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
There was another one who almost died, but I didn't do enough damage to permakill him. And he just got left unconscious in there, and they managed to hide him. They did a bunch of shenanigans. It's actually really good, and they managed to convince him that he was dead. But no, it is interesting to see what people do. This is so honestly, the campaign is actually supposed to start with you just in the prison. And most people, when they just wake up, they just immediately start to like taunt the drow, honestly.
That's the worst idea.
Yeah, they normally get shot. But you know, there's maybe a little more bluster than actual strength, because you know they still want to keep prisoners. Yeah. So next time we'll start off with Chapter 1, Prisoners of the Drow.
Super dead.
Everybody's level 20. Congratulations. No.
You're
Oh,
great.
sweet. Okay, I'll take it.
Still no gear.
No gear, but I'm a monk at level 20. Who gives
Well,
a
that's
damn?
Your
true.
gear, if any, is currently missing.
Wait, what is missing?
If you had any, your gear is currently missing.
I didn't have any.
Yeah,
That's bad.
Funnily enough, I bypassed that unintentionally.
and you have learned that it seems that magic does not work in this particular area right here.
I mean, it's the Underdark. So I'm going to go ahead and chop off stream and whatnot.
Okay.
As am I.